Falling for the twin childhood friends, the school goddess is desperately crying. Car accident. Call 120. Sir, hold on. Inside the flipped car, Zhou Hang's head was bleeding, and his brain seemed to have crashed, blocking out all external information. Struggling to breathe, he managed to reset his phone to factory settings. After doing that, his consciousness began to fade. Faintly, he saw his late great-grandmother waving at him. Xiao Zhou, the boss's brother-in-law, is parachuting in this time. Keep up the good work, and next time, you'll definitely get promoted. Zhou Hang, sis wants to support you. Name your price. Past memories flashed by. The scene finally froze on the day he graduated from high school and returned to school for the last time. He was surrounded by a crowd, and in front of him stood a beautiful girl. Her skin was as smooth as snow, and her eyes were like a clear spring, with an ethereal aura, beautiful like a fairy. The white dress she wore made her appear flawless. She was so radiant she seemed to glow. As the scene became clearer, Zhou Hang recognized the girl Li Chuxia. She had transferred to their school in the second semester of her first year. From the moment she arrived, she became the school's recognized goddess, with admirers both inside and outside the school. She was the white moonlight in many boys' hearts. Many boys from other schools even came to admire her from afar. Zhou Hang had been one of her most ardent admirers, confessing to her for 2.5 years, making 99 attempts. Every time, Li Chuxia rejected him. When he wanted to give up, she would throw him a piece of candy, reigniting his hope. He was like a fish caught on a hook, pulled along by her whims. When the principal found out about Zhou Hang's persistence, he was so moved by his determination that he gave Zhou Hang a serious punishment and issued a school-wide reprimand. This effectively caused him to be socially ostracized at school. Why are you in a daze? Hurry up and say something. The chubby guy beside him, anxious, elbowed Zhou Hang hard, as if he wanted to speak for him. Fatty? Finally, you're not being so girly anymore. Zhu Pengfei was one of Zhou Hang's friends. They had been classmates from elementary school to high school. After graduating from university, Zhu Pengfei had been tricked by a relative who lured him overseas with a high-paying job, only for him to be caught in a scam group. After a long series of events, they managed to rescue him, but he had been tortured severely, physically and mentally. His manhood had been permanently damaged. Since then, Zhu Pengfei's personality had changed dramatically, his behavior becoming more effeminate, and his sexual orientation shifted from liking women to liking men. Every time Zhou Hang saw him, he felt as if the guy was staring at his crotch, occasionally licking his lips as he looked. Thinking about it now made Zhou Hang shiver. You're the girly one. Zhu Pengfei cursed, then said with a hint of frustration, today is your 100th confession. Please don't screw it up. Li Chuxia said that as long as you confess one more time, she'll agree to be your girlfriend. The 100th confession. Oh, he remembered now. He and Li Chuxia had both gotten into the same university and dated for a while. At first, their relationship was very sweet, and Zhou Hang rejected all the girls who showed interest in him. Although his life wasn't wealthy, Zhou Hang scrimped and saved, borrowing money from everywhere, and bought Li Chuxia her favorite old-fashioned cream cake. That night, on her birthday, after Zhou Hang gave her the gift, a male student from her dorm excitedly ran back. Guys, look what I found in the trash. A cake that's still unopened. The writing on the cake was smeared, but Zhou Hang could still faintly make out the character Xia. It was the cake he had bought for Li Chuxia. In his anger, he went to question Li Chuxia, only to see her, pretending to be sick, all dressed up, preparing to get into a Mercedes-Benz. Li Chuxia said something Zhou Hang would never forget. Yes, I like this kind of cake, but you can't even afford more than this cheap cake. You're my boyfriend, but you don't have the right to stop me from pursuing a better life. Heartbroken, Zhou Hang shut his heart off from that point on. Fatty. Big brother, what are you up to now? My eyes are blind, I can't see. Zhu Pengfei rolled his eyes in disbelief and lifted Zhou Hang's heavy bangs. The bright sunlight blinded Zhou Hang, making him squint. Your bangs are covering half your face, no wonder you can't see. Zhou Hang took out his phone and opened the camera to take a selfie. He was horrified by his appearance over the top, with a foil perm, and bangs blocking half of his face. Could this be me, this nonsensical, non-mainstream version of me? He gently tugged at his hair, feeling a slight pain on his scalp. Now, he was sure he wasn't dead. He had somehow traveled back to his student days. Zhou Hang remembered when the TV station started broadcasting Korean dramas, and the trend of flower boys swept across the country. Young people scrambled to imitate them, and thus, the non-mainstream group was born. In fact, being non-mainstream had its own rules. The pants had to be loose, low-rise, with a dog chain hanging from the waist, and hair would often fall into the soup when drinking. The typing had to be in strange, Martian text. Only by combining all of these could one be considered a true non-mainstream noble. At first, the teachers tried to manage it, but as the non-mainstream group grew in size, they just turned a blind eye, as long as the students' grades didn't affect the school's graduation rates and bonuses. Looking at his reflection on the phone screen, Zhou Hang finally understood why his parents had disapproved of him back then. Oh tilde. Just looking at it makes me want to puke. Don't you have anything to say to me? Li Chuxia's eyes were filled with anticipation as her small hand gripped the hem of her clothes tightly. At first, she didn't have any feelings for Zhou Hang, but after his repeated confessions, her heart was finally won over, and she started to like him. There were several times when she almost agreed to be with him. However, her best friend always stopped her, saying that girls should be more reserved and test Zhou Hang for a bit longer, which was why she had delayed accepting his confession. Zhou Hang, you can do it. Get Li Chuxia, and you're my idol. Hurry up and speak. Why are you silent? The crowd was cheering, even more eager than the person involved. Since everyone is so enthusiastic, I'll say a few words. Zhou Hang raised his hand to silence the crowd, then said, I wish all of you a bright future and hope you get into your ideal universities. Go to hell. The crowd erupted in boos. Who do you think you are, the principal? We asked for a confession, not a graduation speech. Aren't you going to confess to me? Li Chuxia's eyes betrayed her disappointment. She was ready to agree, but Zhou Hang's sudden change of heart caught her off guard. Confess? Zhou Hang chuckled. He had seen ghosts and wasn't he afraid of the dark? Perhaps Li Chuxia had liked him at first, but as her standards and material needs grew, their views began to differ, and their relationship was destined to end. He already knew the outcome, so why put himself through unnecessary frustration? The time's getting late. I'm going home to eat. Zhou Hang waved his hand at the crowd. See you around, everyone. Everyone was left confused. Is eating dinner more important than dating the goddess of the school? Wait a minute. Just as Zhou Hang turned to leave, Li Chuxia stopped him. What's the matter? Li Chuxia paused for a moment, as if making a decision, then looked at Zhou Hang with determined eyes. You took 99 steps towards me, so let me take the last one. Li Chuxia reached out her fair, delicate hand, pushed a strand of hair behind her ear, and flashed a smile that no one could resist. Zhou Hang, will you be my boyfriend? Wow tilde. The scene instantly exploded. I must have misheard. Li Chuxia actually confessed to Zhou Hang. It looks like the goddess has really fallen. Say yes. Say yes. Zhou Hang was also a little surprised. He never expected Li Chuxia to confess to him in front of everyone. After hesitating for a moment, he gave his answer. Sorry, we're not really suited for each other. What? He rejected her. This was Li Chuxia. Under the stunned gazes of the crowd, Zhou Hang walked away without looking back, leaving in style. A man only gets one chance to be infatuated. He wouldn't fall into the same trap twice. Besides, since he had been reborn, who would waste time on love? Now, the goal was to focus on making money. Once he had money, what couldn't he have? Women would only slow down his pace in making money. Chapter 2, Childhood Sweethearts. Li Chuxia was the dream girl that many boys longed for but couldn't have. Everyone was left wondering, why did Zhou Hang reject her? Had he lost his mind? Or maybe after being rejected so many times, Zhou Hang had developed a grudge and was deliberately trying to hurt Li Chuxia in public. At that moment, a girl suddenly ran in from outside the school gate, instantly capturing everyone's attention. She was youthful and radiant, with long, flowing hair and bright, sparkling eyes. Even the loose school uniform couldn't hide her graceful figure. In terms of looks, temperament, and physique, she was just as impressive as Li Chuxia. She's so beautiful. I know her. She's Zhu Jiao from Li Yuan High School. She has just as many admirers as Li Chuxia. Is that Zhu Jiao? What is she doing here at our school? Zhou Jiao was not only outstanding in academics but also exceptionally beautiful, making her quite a well-known figure in the high school world. However, many people only knew her name and were seeing her in person for the first time. Ignoring the curious gazes, Zhou Jiao scanned the area before finally focusing on Zhou Hang, who was unlocking his bike at the parking shed. Fool! Zhou Jiao jogged over, hands on her hips, and glared at Zhou Hang with a feisty look. Yuzu? What are you doing here? Zhou Jiao and Zhou Hang were childhood sweethearts. Yuzu was Zhou Hang's nickname for her, and their bond was even closer than Zhu Pengfei's. Zhou Jiao was just as perfect as Li Chuxia in every way. Zhou Hang wasn't blind, he knew full well how attractive Zhou Jiao was. But the reason he pursued Li Chuxia instead of her had its own explanation. First, he was too familiar with Zhou Jiao. It would be awkward to date her, like the saying goes, a rabbit doesn't eat the grass near its burrow. Second, their families lived very close to each other, which made things complicated. If they broke up, her uncle Zhou would likely show up at his door with a fierce attitude. Fool, do you have dementia or something? Didn't you tell me to wait for you after school to go home together? Forget it, forget it. It's so hot today, let us go home quickly. Zhou Jiao hopped onto the front bar of Zhou Hang's bike. Zhou Hang didn't say anything. He wrapped his arms around her, pushed hard on the pedals, and rode off, right in front of Li Chuxia. A wave of envious looks followed Zhou Hang as he moved ahead. This little brat sure kept his secrets well. No wonder he rejected Li Chuxia's confession, turns out he already had someone else. Men are always like this, chasing after someone else as soon as they like them. Li Chuxia's best friend, Shenshishia, spat in disdain, muttering, I told you he was fickle. Good thing I made you reject him 99 times as a test. Otherwise, you'd have been fooled by his fake deep feelings. This little test is too much for him. He's definitely not sincere. A guy like him is nothing but trash, we don't need him. Everyone around was stunned by this absurd commentary. How did Shenshishia manage to destroy someone else's happiness and still have the audacity to call them a scumbag? If he pursued her, she'd say he was fickle. If he didn't pursue her, she'd say he wasn't sincere and label him a scumbag. So, no matter what he did, he was wrong. What kind of logic is this? Was he not allowed to give up and move on after being rejected? Li Chuxia watched Zhou Hang disappear from view, her feelings complex, and unsure what to think. Zhou Hang, like a wild horse, sped down the road on his bike, the wind making his clothes flutter. Zhou Jiao rested one hand on the crossbar, leaning her cheek on her hand, and a fresh, sweet scent of youth surrounded her. Zhou Hang leaned closer and took a deep breath. It smelled so good. Girls and women were just different. No, I'm acting like a creepy old man. Fool, aren't you curious why I'm different in the day and at night? I'm not curious. During the day, Zhou Jiao was lively and cheerful, but at night, she became quiet and shy. Quick as a rabbit, still as a virgin was the perfect description of Zhou Jiao. It was normal for women to be moody. Zhou Hang had met many girls who could be laughing one moment and angry the next, questioning the boys if they'd made a mistake. So, he didn't think it was anything unusual. I'll tell you a secret. What secret? I actually have a split personality. Are you scared? What's there to be scared of? Zhou Hang shook his head. He thought, anyway, she wouldn't hurt me. Even if she had 100 personalities, it wouldn't matter. And what's so special about a split personality? Aren't we all a little crazy? If you had to choose, which version of me would you prefer? Zhou Jiao tilted her head slightly, her big eyes sparkling as she gazed at Zhou Hang, her expression full of anticipation. If you're a minor, then choose. But I'm an adult, I'll take both. Unexpectedly, Zhou Hang openly admitted his greed. Zhou Jiao didn't get angry but smiled instead, asking, you'll take both. Can you handle it? Brother S in great shape. Let me show you my abs. Saying this, Zhou Hang pulled up his shirt and covered Zhou Jiao's head with it, pressing her down without any regard for her. Oh tilder, you're all sweaty, you stink. Let me go. Let go, or I'll bite you. Zhou Jiao struggled, her legs kicking up and down. The next second, Zhou Hang's expression changed dramatically as the pain almost caused him to lose balance and crash the bike. You really bit me. Don't call me Yuzu. Just call me Dogsy. Zhou Hang stopped the bike and lifted his shirt, looking down to find a set of teeth marks, now covered with saliva. Serves you right. Who told you to stink me out? Jiu Jiao proudly raised her head, her face full of satisfaction. A passing aunt looked over and sighed, young people sure know how to have fun these days. Jiu Jiao. Zhou Hang. After sending Yuzu off, Zhou Hang finally returned home. He parked his bike, ran upstairs, and shouted, "Mom, Dad, I'm home." He opened the door to find Zhu Shuhai sitting on the sofa watching TV, and Li Yumei in the kitchen preparing dinner. Zhou Hang casually threw his school bag aside, grabbed a piece of chocolate, and sat on the sofa, enjoying the treat. His family had always been intact. There was no dramatic backstory like his father having cancer or dying from overwork to pay for his bride price, or his mother remarrying the neighbor, old Wang. Other than the occasional minor sickness, his parents had always been healthy and worked until retirement. Zhou Hang suggested they enjoy life after retirement, but they felt like staying at home would be boring, so they found part-time jobs to pass the time. You seem to be in a good mood. What good news do you have? Zhu Shuhai casually asked. Nothing much. Just that Li Chuxia from our school confessed and said she wanted to be my girlfriend. Really? Zhu Shuhai casually responded, but last time I went to the parent-teacher meeting, the homeroom teacher said you were always sticking to Li Chuxia like a shadow. Bullshit. That's slander. Libel. Rumor. Zhou Hang immediately countered, everyone in Jianghai City knows I'm famous for loving to study. Li Chuxia confessed to me in front of everyone, and I rejected her. Now, she's probably hiding in the bathroom crying. Hee, that reminds me of something. Zhu Shuhai, not interested in his son's nonsense, changed the topic. Your cousin is going to high school next year and wants to borrow some study materials to reference in advance. I saw a file in your computer with study materials. Just log into your QQ and send it to her. Zhu Shuhai patted Zhou Hang's shoulder and said proudly, I didn't expect you to be so serious about studying behind our backs. One file is hundreds of gigabytes. Study materials. Oh. Zhou Hang dashed into his room, quickly cancelling the transfer. That was close. If that file had been sent, I would have been the family disgrace. Chapter 3, Dad, Spill Some Gold Coins. After dinner, father and son sat on the sofa with their legs crossed, watching a comedy by Stephen Chow on TV. They were laughing uncontrollably, enjoying the warm family atmosphere. Hey, Dad, Zhou Hang smacked his lips. There's no flavor in my mouth. Can you get some fruit for us? Zhu Shuhai shouted towards the kitchen, honey, bring me some watermelon. The moment he said that, Zhu Shuhai immediately regretted it. Asking a woman to help with housework was already bad enough, but making demands was a big taboo. It was like dancing around in a minefield. He was practically asking for trouble. Bang, bang, bang. As expected, a loud chopping sound came from the kitchen, each thwack seemingly coming down with extra force. Father and son both shivered, feeling as though they were the chopping board, imagining the knife coming down on them. Their bones started to ache for no reason. Hearing footsteps, both of them instinctively reached for the cloth on the table. Seeing that Zhu Shuhai was about to snatch it away, Zhou Hang quickly bumped him out of the way with his backside, not even sparing a thought for father-son loyalty. Unfilial son. Zhu Shuhai was stunned. He never expected Zhou Hang to be so ruthless. After grabbing the cloth, Zhou Hang started wiping the coffee table seriously, then turned to face Wang Shuhui, who had walked out of the kitchen with the fruit platter. Mom, you're so hard-working, Zhou Hang said, flattering her with a smile. I cleaned the table, and I'll take the trash out later. You go take a shower and rest. At this point, Zhou Hang knew exactly what to say. Never use the word help. If he said, I helped you clean, any housewife would definitely snap. Who said I have to do their housework, she would ask, seething with anger. Don't you think this is your responsibility too? Good boy, your mom's best son, Wang Shuhui smiled, but when she turned to look at Zhu Shuhai, her expression darkened. She slammed the fruit platter on the table. Eat, 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 that's all you do. After you eat, what do you do? Just sit there and give orders like you're the lord of the house. You think you're above it all. Even your son knows how to share the chores, and you're worse than him. Zhu Shuhai was scolded harshly. He quickly shut his mouth, knowing that if he dared argue back, things would escalate further. Wang Shuhui's rage could turn from a missile to an atomic bomb in an instant. "Mom, you're really something," Zhou Hang added, slyly shifting the blame back to Zhu Shuhai. "Mom's worked so hard, and you can't even cut some watermelon for her? Look at me, I care about Mom's feelings. You're such a little sweetheart." Zhu Shuhai gritted his teeth. He had never realized that a person could be so shameless. Once Wang Shuhui retreated to her room, Zhu Shuhai regained his position as the head of the household and straightened his back. "Son, I need to talk to you about something. Can you give me some money?" he asked, expecting Zhu Hang to help out. "Money?" Zhu Hang slapped his forehead, almost forgetting that he was back in the past, 20 years ago, before the internet lingo like spilling gold coins became popular. "I mean, just give me some money. I have my uses for it." This life was not about working for someone else. Zhu Hang had no desire to be a 996 corporate slave, endlessly exploited by those so-called entrepreneurs. He didn't want to wake up early and work late, like a beast of burden, only to earn barely enough to survive. The funniest thing was the ridiculous experts who said things like, "Why don't young people focus on anything other than money? If we don't talk about money, are we supposed to talk about emotions? Don't take money so seriously, why don't you donate all your money? I'd rather slap you across the face." Zhu Shuhai cursed, glaring at Zhu Hang. This brat had sold him out earlier, and now he had the nerve to ask for money? It was already generous of Zhu Shuhai not to beat him with a 7-pack of cigarettes. After failing to borrow money from his father, Zhu Hang was a bit annoyed. Bad move. He should have waited until he got the money before betraying his father. Now, with his relationship with his golden sponsor ruined, borrowing money from his dad was a lost cause. Should he ask his mom? Forget it. She had taken every penny of his red envelope money since he was a child. She claimed it was saved for his future wedding, but Zhu Hang clearly remembered that after his mom collected his red envelope money, she would always buy new gold jewelry the next day. His red envelope money? It had probably been transferred as assets long ago. Take his mom to court to get his red envelope money back? No way. He had already angered his dad. If he went and pissed off his mom too, he might end up on the streets. He didn't want to become an orphan in this life. It seemed he would have to think of another way to make money for his business. This summer after high school, before university, was undoubtedly the best time. No summer homework, able to stay up until late at night, and control his own time. Zhu Hang played video games all night and woke up late the next day. Stretching lazily, he scratched his glutes, then got out of bed and washed up. His parents had already gone to work, and there was breakfast left on the table for him. After eating, Zhu Hang changed clothes and went out. Zhu Pengfei had asked him to help distribute flyers for a preschool English tutoring center. Zhu Pengfei was already waiting downstairs. The two hopped on their bikes and headed out. Along the way, Zhu Hang rode like a wild horse, racing through the streets, his jacket billowing in the wind. After riding several kilometers without feeling tired, he couldn't help but think, being young is really great. With his current fitness, he could make a decent living by working at a construction site. When they arrived at their destination, Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei were among a group of students doing summer work. The place was a very famous preschool English institution, one of the top centers in town. Women and children's money was always the easiest to make. The owner, who had been in the business for years, had become wealthy and bought several large villas. His garage was filled with luxury cars. Looking at the children in class, Zhu Hang was filled with nostalgia. When I was their age, I was still playing with sand and building forts. These kids are already learning English. It turned out that 20 years ago, things were already this competitive. They didn't stay long at the institution. The full-time staff assigned them to different locations and gave each student a stack of flyers. Under the scorching sun, after only a short time, Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei were drenched in sweat. After a few hours of flyer distribution, they were both exhausted, their clothes soaked through. They sat on the curb, gulping down a bottle of water. I thought handing out flyers would be easy, but it's so tiring. Zhu Pengfei grumbled. I thought I could handle it for a while, but I've already got sunburned. My face is getting so dark, and the money's still so little. Zhu Pengfei continued complaining. Zhu Hang frowned, looking at the few bills he had earned. Making money this way is too slow. Looks like I'll have to consider a shortcut. Chapter 4, An Inconvenient Secret. Illegal side hustle. Zhu Pengfei's eyes lit up. Hang, I'm good at drawing. What if we set up a stall selling paper money? Do you think the idea will work? That's way too illegal. Zhu Hang pressed his hand on Zhu Pengfei's shoulder. The bold get rich, while the timid starve. If we're going to do this, let's make it big. Let us print fake money. I'll handle the color changing ink, and you take care of the acid-free paper. Hang, are you serious? Zhu Pengfei seemed eager to try, but for some reason, he felt excited, and every cell in his body started to stir. You idiot. Zhu Hang slapped him across the back of his head. He may want to get rich, but he definitely didn't want to land in prison. Illegal activities were a no-go. But Zhu Pengfei wasn't that scared. Zhu Hang had just been joking around, but Zhu Pengfei actually took him seriously and even dared to consider breaking the law. No wonder he had gone to northern Myanmar by himself after graduation. What are you hitting me for? You're the one who said you wanted a side hustle. Zhu Pengfei pouted, rubbing the back of his head, looking frustrated. I'm talking about a side hustle that isn't illegal. Huh? You mean there's a legal side hustle? Zhu Pengfei's small eyes were full of confusion. He couldn't think of any side hustle that was both legal and profitable. After all, the illegal ones like fraud and drugs were clearly listed in criminal law. Besides, could a side hustle still be called a side hustle if it were legal? Of course. Zhu Hang nodded. A side hustle doesn't have to be illegal, like gambling or drugs. It could be something morally questionable. I already have a business idea in mind, one that's not only legal but also very profitable. And everyone will praise us as ethical businessmen. He had already figured out what business he wanted to start. Really? That sounds amazing. Let us do it now. Not so fast. I need a bit of startup capital. I'll go raise some money. If all goes well, we can start tomorrow. All right, I'll wait for your news. Once he got home, Zhu Hang started rummaging through drawers and corners where he usually hid money. He dug out some cash and, after adding the 250 yuan he earned from his part-time job, he had a total of 250 yuan. Har! This number is so lucky. Zhu Hang complained. With this initial capital, it wasn't enough to kick off his first bucket of gold plan. He would need to come up with more money. His parents were definitely not an option. Especially his mom. If she found out he had a little stash of cash, she would seize it all, and by tomorrow, she would be sporting some new clothes. After thinking for a while, Zhu Hang decided to turn to Zhu Jiao for help. He went out and stood below her building, shouting, "Uzza!" On the 5th floor, Zhu Jiao, leaning her arms on the windowsill, cautiously poked her head out. When she saw Zhu Hang, she immediately retracted her head, like a mole on a mole machine. Why was she hiding? After a moment, hurried footsteps echoed, and Zhu Jiao, wearing a loose t-shirt and small shorts that showed off her long white legs, appeared before him. What are you shouting about? I need to talk to you. Zhu Hang replied, I haven't asked yet, but why did you act like you saw a ghost when you saw me? You looked like you were trying to hide from something. What is it to you? Zhu Jiao's gaze darted around nervously, clearly worried that Zhu Hang might figure something out. She quickly changed the subject. What is the matter? I want to start a business, but I need some startup capital. Can you lend me some? Zhu Hang raised 3 fingers. I swear, once I start making money, I'll pay you back 10 times the amount. I promise, I won't treat you unfairly. Fine, fine. You swear so much, even heaven is probably tired of hearing you. How much do you need? How much do you have? I'll borrow that amount. All right. But I just bought clothes and skincare products, so I don't have much left. Maybe just over 1,500 yuan, is that enough? That is perfect. Zhu Hang nodded eagerly. He didn't expect Zhu Jiao's little stash to be so substantial. In this day and age, 1,500 yuan was still quite a bit of money. Back when he was in college, Zhu Hang's monthly allowance was only 500 yuan. If he didn't eat or drink for 3 months, he could barely save that much. Let me go get it for you. Zhu Jiao turned around, but when she saw Zhu Hang following her, she immediately raised her guard. Why are you following me? I'll go upstairs with you to get the money. That way, you don't have to come back down. No. Why not? You hiding a guy at your place? Based on her earlier odd behavior, Zhou Hang suspected she was up to something shady. But, you're the one hiding a guy. Why are you so nervous if you're not hiding anyone? Gu Jiao stammered, my parents aren't home, and we're two people alone in the same room. People might talk. Talk about what? When I was carrying you and kissing you, I didn't see you worried about being gossiped about. Taking advantage of her distraction, Zhou Hang slipped past her and dashed up the stairs. Gu Jiao couldn't stop him and ran after him. Wait for me. The door was slightly ajar, and by the time Gu Jiao caught up, Zhou Hang had already barged inside. He acted like he was in his own home, wandering around the living room casually. Is the money in your room? Zhou Hang grabbed the doorknob, turned it, and pushed open the door. This sudden move startled Gu Jiao. By the time she tried to stop him, Zhou Hang had already entered. Damn it! Instinctively, Gu Jiao shut her eyes. Guz, your bed is pretty soft. Hearing this, Gu Jiao opened her eyes to see Zhou Hang sitting on the edge of her bed as if there was nothing unusual. She walked in, glanced around cautiously. You're unbelievable. You can't just walk into a girl's room like that. Out. Out. Get out. Gu Jiao quickly shoved him out of the room and slammed the door. Don't close the door. You haven't given me the money yet. I put it in the study. Let me go get it. After taking a few steps, Gu Jiao suddenly turned around, pointing at Zhou Hang and warning, stay put. If you run into my room again, I'll hit you. With that, she raised her small fist in a mock threat. Worried he might wander again, Gu Jiao quickly returned and stuffed the money into Zhou Hang's hands. Here, this is all I have. Take it. Thanks. Zhou Hang didn't hesitate, folding the bills and slipping them into his pocket. Then, he pinched Gu Jiao's soft, pale cheek. I love you. You're the best. I swear, I'll keep my word and won't treat you unfairly. How about this? Let me give you a kiss as interest. No. No, stop it. Someone might see us. Gu Jiao's face turned red, and she pressed her hands firmly against Zhou Hang's mouth. Who's going to see us? The door isn't closed. I'm afraid the neighbors might see us. Really? Of course. No one's home here. When she said no one's home, her voice went up a pitch, as if trying to emphasize it. All right, I've got things to do, so I'll leave now. Zhou Hang decided to leave while the getting was good. With the money in hand, he didn't linger. As he headed downstairs, he called Zhu Pengfei, Fatty, I've got the money, meet me at the gate. Gu Jiao stood at the window, watching Zhou Hang leave. Once she saw him exit the building, she finally felt the heavy weight in her chest lift. She walked into her bedroom, knocked on the wardrobe door. Come out, he's gone. Chapter 5, the first step in starting a business, living off women. Although Zhou Hang had just graduated from high school in terms of his physical age, his soul was that of a man in his 30s. Having worked in the business world for many years, Zhou Hang had developed the ability to read people and situations to an extraordinary level. How could someone like Gu Jiao, a little girl, possibly fool him? Zhou Hang immediately noticed that something was off with Gu Jiao. She must be hiding some secret from him. However, Zhou Hang didn't know what that secret was. If Gu Jiao wasn't willing to tell him, he couldn't go around pestering her for information. After all, everyone had their own little secrets. The one thing Zhou Hang was certain of was that Gu Jiao hadn't brought a man home. The moment he stepped inside her house, he looked around. There were no sneakers that belonged to a young man at the door, and the slippers were neatly arranged, showing no signs of anyone having visited. Moreover, during the summer, boys usually sweat more, and their scent tends to linger, but Zhou Hang didn't smell anything out of the ordinary. Just now, when I entered her room, Jiao seemed really nervous, like she was afraid I would find something I wasn't supposed to see. What is she hiding from me? Could it be that she was watching some scandalous videos? No, that couldn't be it. Her bed was flat and smooth, without a single wrinkle. She probably hadn't been up to anything embarrassing. Hang. Zhu Pengfei suddenly appeared, standing a few hundred meters away, waving and shouting, completely interrupting Zhou Hang's train of thought. Where are we going? Zhu Pengfei puffed, out of breath. The summer heat was his worst enemy. After walking a few steps, he was already drenched in sweat, his face as red as a boiled lobster. "You'll know when we get there." Zhou Hang teased him, then flagged down a taxi when they reached the main road. "Driver, take us to the wholesale market." Zhu Pengfei, who was exhausted from the walk, immediately moved to the back seat, positioning himself in front of the air conditioning vent, enjoying the cool breeze. His flushed face gradually returned to its normal color. This is so comfortable." Zhu Pengfei sighed contentedly. Hang, how much money did you get? How come you're willing to take a taxi?" Most people relied on public transportation because taxes were too expensive. Just the starting fare was 8 yuan, which was quite steep. For students with only a few coins in their pockets, taking a taxi was a luxury. They only used taxis during holidays when they had to bring gifts to relatives, and their parents didn't mind spending money to save time. The ride to the packaging market alone would cost at least 20 yuan. With that amount of money, Zhu Pengfei could have enjoyed a luxurious meal at a milk tea shop. Not much, just a bit less than 10,000. Less than 10,000? You mean 9,000? 8,000? No, more like a little over 1,000. Shit. That's a far cry from 10,000. Zhu Hang shrugged nonchalantly. Though 1,000 yuan sounded like a lot, after buying all the materials for their business, there would barely be anything left. At the mention of such a small sum, the driver couldn't help but glance at Zhu Hang. In Jianghai City, the average salary was only around 2,000 yuan, and students with a few extra coins in their pockets were doing well. If someone had a 100 yuan note, they were practically a rich kid. Zhu Hang looked no older than 17 or 18, and he appeared to be a student. For him to have so much money was indeed rare. Many adults probably didn't have that much cash on hand. How did you manage to get so much money in one day? In less than a day, Zhu Hang had managed to get over 1,000 yuan. Zhu Pengfei was genuinely shocked. He was curious about how Zhu Hang had pulled it off. That amount of money would be enough to feed him fried chicken and burgers for the whole summer. The driver joined the conversation. "Kid, what do you do to make so much money? Can you teach me?" "I can, but you probably won't be able to learn." Zhu Hang shrugged. "Shut up." Zhu Pengfei wasn't having it. "We've been in the same class since we were kids, taught by the same teachers. I'm not worse than you. Why do you think I can do it but you can't?" "All right then, the secret is." Zhu Hang didn't argue with Zhu Pengfei. He raised 3 fingers and dropped one for each word. Eat. Soft. Rice. Once they arrived at the wholesale market, Zhu Hang led Zhu Pengfei to bargain at every shop. "Boss, how much for the creamer powder?" 10 yuan a bag. "Are you trying to rob me?" "The shop next door sells it for 8 yuan. If you don't lower the price, I'll go buy from them." 5 yuan a bag, take it or leave it." After comparing several stores, Zhu Hang picked the one with the highest quality products and bought a large amount of drink ingredients. The owner was reluctant to lower the price, but after Zhu Hang used all sorts of negotiation tricks, the boss finally relented and agreed to sell it at half price. As Zhu Hang paid, the boss kept muttering, "Kid, I'm only selling it to you at a loss because I have a good feeling about you. I wouldn't sell to anyone else at this price." Zhu Pengfei, thinking they had found an honest merchant, thanked the boss repeatedly. Zhu Hang, however, sneered. While he had gotten a good deal, the boss was still making a profit. No one would ever lose money in business. This kind of selling at a loss line was just a typical trick to fool people like Zhu Pengfei, who hadn't yet been exposed to the ways of the world. After finishing with the raw materials, Zhu Hang went to a second-hand market and bought an old sealing machine. He had spent all the money he brought with him. With their arms full of bags, the two trudged home. Zhu Pengfei collapsed, panting like a dog, complaining that he had just completed a year's worth of exercise in a single day. After resting for a while, Zhu Pengfei finally recovered. "Hang, what are you going to do with all this stuff? Can't you tell? We're going to make milk tea." Zhu Hang had considered various businesses such as medical aesthetics, e-commerce, and more. These were emerging industries, and the people who got in early had become rich. But they all required huge investments, and as a student, Zhu Hang didn't have the capital to start them. There was no way he could mortgage his house for a business. It just wasn't realistic. After thinking it through, Zhou Hang decided to go for milk tea. The initial investment was low, the entry barrier was relatively low, and the regulations on street vendors weren't very strict, saving him the cost of opening a store. This was undoubtedly the most suitable business for him. In every industry, there are successful people. Well-known brands like Hey-Tea, Nayuki, and Chaeyan Isar were making huge profits. However, Zhou Hang's current resources were limited, and these high-end products were not the right fit for him. He planned to take the path of Meshua, targeting the lower market with affordable prices and making a quick profit. As long as he could build up his brand, he was sure to make a fortune. Chapter 6: You can earn more by being unscrupulous. Milk tea. Zhu Pengfei looked at the large and small bags of raw materials on the ground, including beverage powder, pigments, and a whole box of white sugar. It was a mess of things he had never seen before. It looked more like a chemistry class. Milk tea, as the name suggests, is a combination of milk and tea. Zhu Pengfei. I really couldn't figure out how to make milk tea with these things. Zhou Hang didn't explain much and demonstrated it directly. He first brought out a bucket of mineral water and poured it into a stainless steel cylindrical pot, then opened bags of powder and poured them in. Water, put it in. Non-dairy creamer, put it in. Tea powder, put it in. White sugar, put it in. After adding all the ingredients, Zhou Hang stirred frantically with a large rolling pin, and sang happily while stirring. I stirred and stirred in the small iron bucket. With constant stirring, the contents of the iron bucket were gradually neutralized and turned coffee-colored. Zhou Hang scooped a cup and handed it to Zhu Pengfei. Come, taste it. Is this thing delicious? Zhu Pengfei was skeptical and sniffed it with his nose. It did smell like a strong milk tea. Taking a sip and savoring it carefully, Zhu Pengfei was stunned with shock. His three views were shattered. Oh my god! It turns out that milk tea can be made without adding a drop of milk or tea. This tastes exactly the same as the one I bought in the milk tea shop. Zhu Pengfei held the cup and swished away most of the cup in one breath. It tastes good, but it's a little too sweet and the milk flavor is not enough. Zhu Hang picked up a bag of non-dairy creamer and poured it directly into a transparent plastic cup. Try it again. Zhu Pengfei took another sip and was amazed. It tastes like milk. Such a strong milk flavor. It's more fragrant than pure milk. But the taste is still too simple. If we can make different flavors of milk tea like the milk tea shop, it will be perfect. What flavor do you like? Zhu Pengfei said without hesitation. Of course it's chocolate. Wait. Zhu Hang squatted beside the carton and took out a bag of cocoa powder. Cut a slit in the corner and added it to Zhu Pengfei's drink. Try it again. Zhu Pengfei did not doubt it. After gulping and tasting it, he drank the whole cup of chocolate milk tea in one breath without leaving a drop. The cup was licked as clean as if it had been washed. It tastes good, right? Zhu Hang asked with a smile. Yeah. It tastes so good. I have never tasted such a rich chocolate milk tea. The milk tea produced by Zhu Hang won Zhu Pengfei's praise. Hang, how much are you going to sell a cup for? We should be conscientious in doing business, so let's sell it for 2 yuan a cup. Milky tea shops outside are almost all 3 yuan a cup, and those with better ingredients are more expensive. Zhu Hang has no rent pressure, so he can feel free to lower the price. 2 yuan. Zhu Pengfei said in surprise, but cocoa powder is very expensive. We will definitely lose money if we sell it so cheaply. Of course we will lose money if we use real cocoa powder, but what I use is not cocoa powder. Zhu Pengfei was full of surprise. It obviously tastes like chocolate, what else could it be if it's not cocoa powder? Zhu Hang picked up the packaging bag, pointed to the product name on it, and said, read it after me, cocoa butter substitute. This. Zhu Pengfei was completely bored. He was a high school student after all, so of course he knew what cocoa butter substitute was. This thing contains trans fatty acids, which is different from natural cocoa butter and will have adverse effects on the body. Drinking too much can cause cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases, indigestion, obesity and other physical problems. Hang, if you sell this thing, there will be no problem, right? What are you afraid of? Do you think the milk tea shops outside use milk and tea? They also use these things. What do you want for 2 yuan? That's right. If you use real milk for a few yuan a cup, you will lose your pants. What if there is a problem after eating it? Zhu Pengfei is still a little worried. If there is a problem with the food, then there is something wrong with his body. Zhou Hang said confidently, the things we use meet the national food safety standards. What is there to be afraid of? Don't worry, drinking a little occasionally will not cause any harm. Okay? Zhu Pengfei glanced at Zhou Hang, who had a treacherous smile on his face, and couldn't help asking, Hang, didn't you say that you should be conscientious in doing business? Yes, for the same thing, I sell it cheaper than others and give discounts to the people. Isn't this conscientious enough? Zhu Pengfei scratched his head, his facial features wrinkled. There is nothing wrong with Zhou Hang's words, but he always felt something was wrong. Wouldn't it be too black-hearted to do this? Zhu Pengfei asked a thought-provoking question. Black-hearted. All the milk tea shops out there do this. If we don't make money, others will. It's not black-hearted. If you want to be conscientious, don't do business. Zhou Hang remembered that he had a friend who opened a milk tea barbecue shop after graduation. He was definitely a conscientious business and used real tea and milk. As a result, because the taste was not as strong as that of milk tea powder, the business was always quiet and closed down soon. In his cognition, there is only one company that is conscientious and profitable, and that is Pang Donglai. Doing business is to make money. Only those without conscience can make more. Zhou Hang put his hand on Zhu Pengfei's shoulder, his eyes lit up, as if he got some inspiration from Zhu Pengfei's question. You asked a very good question. I decided to replace mineral water with purified water and white sugar with cheaper syrup, so we can make more money. Zhou Hang sighed with emotion. Hey, others use tap water, but I still use purified water. I am so conscientious. The next day, Zhou Hang got up at dawn. Zhu Shuhai and Li Yumei went to work early in the morning, leaving Zhou Hang alone at home. On the table was breakfast prepared by my mother, a big bowl of white porridge, 2 meat buns, a bottle of pickles and a bottle of fermented bean curd. Ding dong tilder tilder. When the doorbell rang, Zhou Hang knew that Zhu Pengfei had come without guessing, and ran to open the door immediately. Eat breakfast first, and then work after eating. Both of them stretched their bodies, and the breakfast on the table was finished in a short while. After eating and drinking enough and resting for a while, the two began to mix drinks. After a night of experimentation, Zhou Hang had worked out the most perfect mixing ratio, with the unit of material accurate to 1 milligram. Zhou Hang was responsible for making milk tea, and Li Pengfei was responsible for packaging and sealing cups. Several white foam boxes were soon filled with cups of milk tea. This was his first time starting a business, and Zhou Hang was a little excited. He would sell all the drinks and get a box full of money. Just imagine it. Chapter 7 Booming Business. There were no ice packs in this era. So Zhou Hang took out the pre-frozen ice cubes from the refrigerator and put them all into their vest bag. Tie a knot with force. Repeat several times, and several simple ice packs were ready. Put the boxes of drinks on the tricycle and cover them with a quilt. The quilt is a good insulation layer that can block the temperature and effectively prevent the loss of cold air. Keep the drinks cool for a long time. The weather is too hot. If you don't do this, the ice packs in the box will melt in less than half an hour. By then, the ice drinks will become hot drinks, and it will be a miracle if they can be sold. Who would drink hot milk tea on a hot day? After all the preparations were done, the two rushed to Helen Square. Helen Square is located near the AAAA scenic spot Xiao Old Street and Longhua Tower. There are many tourists who come here to visit the ancient monuments. Every holiday and weekend, local people will also bring their families here to eat, drink and have fun. The business system is very mature. The flow of people can be said to be very large. With several popular attractions behind, it is definitely no problem to make money. In fact, Xiao Old Street is the most ideal place to set up stalls. There are people coming and going there, and the business must be booming. However, there are regular shops in the old street. In order to prevent malicious competition and protect businesses, stalls are not allowed to be set up anywhere. People spend money to buy shops to open doors and do business, and you can get a share of the pie without spending a dime. No one is happy. At the least, they quarrel and bicker, and at the worst, they fight. Before, some daring people went to Xiao Old Street to set up stalls and steal business, which caused dissatisfaction among nearby merchants. The two sides had a big fight and both had bruises on their faces. Fortunately, there are police on duty at Helen Square every day, and the police came to stop it in time, so the conflict did not escalate. Zhou Hang just wanted to make money and didn't want to cause trouble. So after weighing the pros and cons, Zhou Hang could only settle for the second best and choose Helen Square next to Shiqiao Old Street. Hang, I can't ride anymore. After riding for a while, Zhu Pengfei cried out that he was tired and lay on the handlebars of the tricycle like a dead dog. The speed of the tricycle was not as fast as the 70-year-old white-haired old man walking on the sidewalk. Fatty, you are too weak. There was no other way, Zhu Hang had to go on the field himself. If Zhu Pengfei rode, he probably wouldn't reach Helen Square before dark. When Zhu Hang took over, the speed of the tricycle immediately increased sharply, and he arrived at the destination in a short while. The entertainment nowadays is not as diverse as it will be in the future, so everyone will come to Helen Square to play whenever they have a holiday. The square is crowded with people. From a distance, it is full of people. Roller skating, playing with balloons, flying kites, fishing for goldfish, rocking cars, air mattresses, etc. There are too many games to count. The children happily stood in the middle of the fountain, drenched like drowned rats, and their mouths echoed with cluck cluck, cheerful laughter. The entertainment nowadays is not as rich and colorful as it will be in the future, but people nowadays still enjoy playing with it. Zhu Hang looked around and found that there were still many people selling things at stalls around. Grilled sausages, boxed lunches, stinky tofu, and all kinds of snacks are available. There are also 3 beverage vendors. One stall owner is a white-haired old lady in her 60s or 70s, another stall owner is a middle-aged woman in her 40s, and there is a young man in his 20s. Their facilities are more advanced than Zhu Hang's, all of which are small freezers that can refrigerate. They sell Sprite, Coke, iced black tea, and mineral water, which are common beverages. Although Zhu Hang's main product is milk tea, which is different from what they all sell beverages and are in the same race. Finding that there is another competitor, the other 2 stall owners also noticed Zhu Hang. Although Helen Plaza has a huge flow of customers, one more person means that they have to share a part of the cake and make less money. People in the same industry are jealous of each other, and any normal person would be a little repulsive. However, Helen Plaza is a public place, and they have no right to stop Zhu Hang from getting away here. Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei set up the stall and took out the sign that Zhu Pengfei had drawn. To be honest, the fat man is really not good at physical work, but he is still a little talented in painting. The whole picture is full of cute cartoon characters. Pleasant Goat and Big Wolf, Pig Man, Big Ear Tutu, Rainbow Cat and Blue Rabbit 7 Heroes, etc. As long as it is the most popular domestic cartoon characters at the moment, they are all drawn on the sign by Zhu Pengfei. Didn't I ask you to draw foreign cartoon characters? Why are all your drawings domestic? It's better to be safe than sorry. In this era, copyright awareness is still relatively weak. It's not a big problem to use Chinese cartoon characters for photos, but there will always be some psychological pressure. Don't get me wrong, Zhu Hang is not ashamed of stealing other people's copyrights. It's just that he is afraid that the copyright holder will come to his door and ask him to pay compensation. It's different for foreign ones. He didn't know that he used the original author, and he couldn't do anything even if he knew. Who would spend a lot of time and energy to sue a small mobile stall across the country when he has nothing to do? However, the problem of Chinese cartoons is not too big. After all, the internet is not well developed now, and the possibility of reaching the ears of the original creator is very small. The only thing that made Zhu Hang speechless was the characters drawn by Zhu Pengfei. I can tolerate you drawing Chinese cartoons. With so many characters, why do you draw the 3 dead lickers in the animation world, Feianyan, He Xiaohu, and Shuangmiangui? Zhu Hang's face was darker than Baogong, and he felt deeply implied. What does this fat guy mean? Is he hinting at my shameless pursuit of Li Chuxiar in the past? Draw me a new sign tomorrow and change the characters to Light Messenger, Beyblade, Dragon Ball, Ultraman. Zhu Hang was talking about some well-known cartoons. Beyblade once set off a wave of 4WD craze, and almost every boy had a few mini 4WD cars at home. Dragon Ball is the world's #1 anime, with a huge fan base, and no other work can match its popularity. Ultraman is the originator of special effects films, which has been popular for decades and is the most amazing film in the hearts of every generation of children. Business will definitely be booming if these anime characters are drawn on. As soon as Zhu Hang's sign was hung up, it became the focus of the whole audience. The children saw the little bees that smelled the nectar and swarmed over. The attraction of cartoons to children is equivalent to that of women seeing luxury brands and men seeing beautiful women with enchanting figures. The children were unable to walk at once. They surrounded Zhou Hang's stall, clamoring for their parents to buy them milk tea. No matter how their parents pulled them away, they would not leave. Some even rolled on the ground and threw a tantrum. People in the past were more shy and afraid of being pointed at and laughed at, so they had no choice but to compromise with their children. "Young man, how much is your milk tea?" 2 yuan a cup. The parents were ready to be slaughtered as a grudge, but when they heard Zhou Hang say it was only 2 yuan, they smiled. "Only 2 yuan? Why didn't you say it earlier? It's so cheap." "Young man, write the price on the sign next time, so that we think it's expensive and dare not buy it." 2 yuan. Give me 3 cups. I want one too. I want one too. Chapter 8 Small Goal: Retire before graduating from college. The 2 beverage stalls next door sell a bottle of iced mineral water for 1 yuan. In contrast, Zhou Hang's milk tea is obviously more cost-effective. Who would want to drink bland mineral water when they can drink milk tea for an extra $1? As for carbonated drinks, although they are more comfortable to drink in summer, they can be bought everywhere. And the drinks sold by the vendors are 50 cents more expensive than those in supermarkets. Now people's income level is not bad, but they still maintain the principle of saving as much as possible in spending. Before, because there were only 2 beverage stalls, everyone could only complain and be cut by them. Now there are better choices, who would be willing to be a big complainer. Some people who were choosing drinks in front of the 2 beverage stalls next door heard that Zhou Hang's milk tea was only 2 yuan a cup, and immediately put down the bottles and cans in their hands and rushed over. The milk tea in the foam box was decreasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The customers bought milk tea, thinking that Zhou Hang's milk tea was cheaper than the milk tea shop, so the taste would definitely be worse. After tasting it, they found out that they were wrong. The milk tea sold by Zhou Hang tasted exactly the same as the milk tea shops outside, but the key point was that the price was much cheaper than the milk tea shops. "Young man, your milk tea is good. It tastes good, really good, give me another cup. Good quality and low price, young man, you are really a conscientious merchant. It would be great if there were more conscientious merchants like you in China." The customers praised Zhou Hang's milk tea and gave him a thumbs up. Zhu Pengfei stood in the wind in a mess. Before, Zhou Hang told him that customers would praise them as conscientious merchants, but he didn't believe it. Using so many food additives, it has nothing to do with the word conscience. Unexpectedly, the customers gave unanimous praise, and most of them even chose to repurchase on the spot. "Oh, thank you for your praise." Zhou Hang patted his chest. "I was born in the new era and grew up under the red flag. I should do business with conscience, bring benefits to the people, and be a businessman who is not guilty." "Okay, well said. You should be down to earth when doing business. Don't learn from those unscrupulous businessmen who cheat and deceive. Don't you think I'm right? Young man, give me 2 more cups of milk tea. Just think of it as my support for your student entrepreneurship. Thank you for the kindness of the villagers." Zhou Hang raised his fist to everyone and said, "I, Zhao Qiang, thank you all." There was a big question mark in Zhu Pengfei's small eyes. Question: Why did Zhou Hang say he was Zhao Qiang? Zhao Qiang was a rich second generation in their school. He liked to show off and act like a boss. He would always point fingers at everyone. Because his family was rich, Zhao Qiang would always be followed by a group of flatterers wherever he went. Zhao Qiang and Zhou Hang were not in the same class, so they did not have much in common. The only thing they had in common was that they both pursued Li Chuxia and had some minor conflicts. Zhao Qiang had also picked he had provoked Zhou Hang several times, but he didn't dare to go too far. It was 3:45 p.m. All the milk tea Zhou Hang brought was sold out, and even the ice cubes were bought by passers-by to use as facial masks to cool down. Only a few empty foam boxes and tricycles were left. I don't know if it aroused the people's desire to buy, but someone actually asked Zhou Hang if he would sell the tricycle. Zhou Hang decisively refused. Without the tricycle as a tool for eating, how could he transport the goods? It's impossible to ride Zhu Pengfei to transport it here, right? Hang, can we go home and rest now? Go home, but not rest. More people come out to shop after dinner in the evening, go back and make another batch of milk tea, and continue in the evening market. During the day, many people were still at work, so the customer flow did not reach its peak. At night, many people like to go out for a walk after dinner to digest their food, and at the same time, they can release the depression and pressure accumulated in their hearts after working all day. The night market is the golden time. Make more money. And it is definitely more than a little more than during the day. After packing up, the two went home to prepare for the night market. Zhu Pengfei asked with some entanglement, Hang, this drink will really not have any problems, right? He, you were quite excited about making counterfeit money before, but now you are afraid of selling some milk tea. Zhu Hang smiled and said, it's okay, you drank so much non-dairy milk tea, has anything happened? It seems not. Zhu Pengfei was still worried and asked, what if something happened? If something happens, it happens. It's Zhao Qiong who sells milk tea. What does it have to do with me, Zhu Hang? Zhu Pengfei suddenly realized. He was still wondering why Zhu Hang reported Zhao Qiong's name. It seemed that he had already thought of shifting the blame. You are really a talent. Zhu Pengfei complained. Suddenly he thought of something and grabbed Zhu Hang's clothes. In the past, people from relevant departments always came to my house, saying that I went to the internet cafe as a minor and asked my parents to take good care of me. You are not using my name. Zhu Pengfei did not like to surf the internet, but in the past, relevant departments came to my house every now and then and said that he went to the internet cafe secretly, causing him to be beaten by my parents. He could not figure out what was going on before. Now he finally knows that it is likely that Zhu Hang is behind it. How is it possible? Am I the kind of person who betrays his brothers? Zhu Hang said righteously, I went with Chen Dongfei at that time. I reported his name and he reported your name. It's reasonable, right? Oh, that's quite reasonable. Why didn't he tell me your name? Zhu Pengfei's cheeks were shaking with anger. You two had fun, but I was beaten into a pig head. Why? You would be a pig head even if I wasn't beaten. Mr. Zhu. I want to break up with you. Don't get excited, it's just a joke. Zhao Qiong threatened at that time, saying that he would find some gangsters in society to teach me a lesson. Do you think Chen Dongfei dares to use my name? Zhu Pengfei was powerless to refute. Internet cafes are a hodgepodge of people, and are the bases for hooligans. If he really meets the hooligans Zhao Qiong knows, Zhu Hang will inevitably be beaten up. The hooligans may not know what Zhu Hang looks like, so it is easy to be mistakenly injured by using Zhu Hang's name, and become his scapegoat. Same type of incidents have happened before. There is a student in the next class who is also called Zhu Hang, with the same pronunciation but different characters. But the hooligans don't care so much. After finding out that he is from number 2 middle school, they think he is the person Zhao Qiong wants to deal with. They just punched and kicked him. The student was beaten up for no reason. With the previous experience, Chen Dongfei dared not use Zhu Hang's name. You two are not good people. Zhu Pengfei spat, and then said, Hang, you said Zhao Qiong's family conditions are so good, and he looks okay. Why didn't Li Chuxier like him, but confess to you instead? How would I know? Zhu Hang frowned, also feeling a little strange. Li Chuxier betrayed him and found a rich second-generation man just because she despised him for being poor. But why did she leave Zhao Qiong, a ready-made rich second-generation man, behind? Forget it, it's none of my business. Maybe because she hasn't entered college yet, Li Chuxier's mind is still relatively simple, and her material needs are not that high. Or maybe she thinks Zhao Qiong's personality is too ostentatious. There are many possibilities, but it has nothing to do with Zhu Hang. He just wants to make money now. Set a small goal, retire early before graduating from college. Chapter 9 Huge Profits. Amazing profits. Go home. After 3 hours of rushing, Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei finally prepared the drinks to be sold at the evening market. Capping, packing, putting ice packs. After the day's operation, the two are now familiar with it. All the processes are done in one go. Moving onto the tricycle, covering with a quilt, and returning to the place where the stall was set up during the day. Young man, do you recognize me? I patronized you this morning and brought my friends to support you. It's this mobile stall. I heard that their milk tea is only 2 yuan a cup, and the taste is no worse than the milk tea shop outside. As soon as Zhu Hang's sign was put up, the stall was crowded with people. Most of them were old customers who had visited during the day, some were ordinary people who came out for a walk, and some were vendors who set up stalls next door. Seeing Zhu Hang appear again, the faces of the owners of the other two beverage stalls suddenly fell. Why is this guy here again? He is so hardworking at such a young age, he is risking his life. Seeing that Zhou Hang's stall business was so good, the people around him were also aroused by curiosity. Isn't it just a cup of milk tea? Why are so many people fighting for it? That's right, it's like they have never drunk milk tea before. You know nothing, this milk tea is only 2 yuan. What the hell? 2 yuan. Why didn't you say it earlier? Boss, give me 2 cups. The crowd joined the rush to buy, wanting to try something new. Milk tea is basically not bad, so you don't have to worry about making a mistake, you can buy it with confidence. Even if you make a mistake, it's only 2 yuan a cup, so you won't feel so painful. So a strange scene formed in Helen Square. Everyone swarmed towards Zhou Hang, and his position became the center of the entire square. Hey tilde. The 2 stall owners were envious. With such a hot business, how much money can they make in a day? Knowing that they couldn't compete with Zhou Hang for customers, they could only pack up and move temporarily. The customer base here is almost monopolized by Zhou Hang. Instead of wasting time here, it's better to go somewhere else and maybe make some money. This time Zhou Hang prepared a larger amount, 300 more cups than during the day. It was not until after 9 o'clock in the evening that all the things were sold out. Come on, fatty, I'll treat you to dinner. Today, Zhu Pengfei and Zhu Hang were busy all day, and the little fat guy was starving. He lost several pounds of fat on his face. We must reward him. The 2 rode tricycles and stopped at the door of Jutuhuhu barbecue restaurant. After locking the chain, they entered the restaurant to order food and sat down at an empty seat. The female boss came over with a paper menu. Handsome guy, what do you want to eat? Zhu Hang subconsciously picked up his mobile phone to scan the code, only to find that the corner of the table was empty. Look at my brain. I'm so busy. Zhu Hang slapped his forehead and remembered that he had returned to decades ago. In this era, the mobile phone system is still dominated by Symbian. If I remember the time correctly, Eagle Source has started to produce the new iPhone for mobile phone, but it has not yet been launched in China. The previous generations of Apple did not make much waves in the domestic market. Until 2010, iPhone 4 after it was launched, it started to sell well in China and became a high-end and avant-garde fashion item in the eyes of young people. An iPhone 4 was sold to tens of thousands of yuan by middlemen. Some people made a lot of money by speculating on iPhone 4. Some students sold their bodies and kidneys to buy an iPhone, just to satisfy their ridiculous vanity. News that shattered people's worldviews were everywhere. Zhu Hang didn't look at the menu, and said proudly, "Boss, serve us everything on the menu, and give us a dozen cold beers." Serve us everything, can you finish it? The boss looked Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei up and down. Both of them were wearing cheap clothes and didn't look like children from rich families. How could Zhu Hang not see the boss's thoughts? On the surface, the boss was asking, "Can you finish the food?" but the real meaning was, "Do you have money to pay the bill?" Zhu Hang didn't say much, took out a few hundred yuan bills and slapped them on the table, showing his financial strength. After seeing the money, the boss immediately smiled. Handsome guy, wait a moment, the food will be here soon. In a short while, the boss came back with a few silver aluminum plates, which were piled with all kinds of grilled skewers. The boss was also very good at dealing with people. He vacated a private room for the 2 big customers and gave them a large bottle of orange juice. After a busy day, the 2 were already hungry and spun without caring about their image. Hang, how much money did we make today? Not much, a total of more than 6,000 yuan. Puff tilde. Zhu Pengfei spurted out a mouthful of orange juice. How much did you say? 6,000. Yeah, is there any problem? Zhu Hang was very calm. Of course there is a problem. The profit of catering is only about 10-15%. How can we make so much money? Zhu Hang took a sip of beer and explained, beverages and alcoholic beverages are always the biggest part of catering. Take the glass bottle cola sold in this barbecue restaurant as an example. The wholesale price is only a few cents. If it is close to expiration, the price is even cheaper, but they sell it for 2 yuan a bottle, and the profit is about 150%-200%. Excluding the 1,500 capital and time cost, we don't make much money, and this is under the premise of not opening a store and hiring people. Damn, it turns out that beverages are so profitable. Zhu Pengfei thought that earning a few hundred yuan was a lot, but he didn't expect that the actual income was several times his expectation. This is not much. If I am more unscrupulous, buy worse raw materials, and reduce costs, we can earn more. As he said, Zhou Hang threw a 100 yuan note to Zhu Pengfei. What do you mean? Zhu Pengfei frowned. We are good brothers, helping you is my duty. You are insulting our feelings by giving me money. Zhu Hang didn't say anything, and threw another 100 yuan note over. Hang, that's not what I meant. Zhu Hang threw 3 more 100 yuan notes and asked lightly, is it enough? Humph. Zhu Pengfei slammed the table heavily, and said to Zhu Hang with a dark face, am I, Zhu Pengfei, the kind of person who is greedy for money? From today on, you are not my brother. Adoptive father, please accept my child's greeting. Zhu Pengfei hugged Zhu Hang's thighs, and his mouth was almost stretched to his ears. Working part-time outside, he only makes about 10 yuan an hour. After working hard all day, it's good to earn dozens of yuan. Zhu Hang gave him 500 yuan directly. He earned a week's wages in one day. He would be willing to call Zhu Hang his grandpa, not to mention calling him godfather. Get out, stop disgusting me. Zhu Hang kicked Zhu Pengfei away. He is not a stingy person. If there is money, everyone will make money together. Besides, Zhu Pengfei also paid real labor. Fatty, follow me and work hard. I won't treat you unfairly. Yeah. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Zhu Pengfei counted the money several times. He could make so much money in one day. He would not leave even if Zhu Hang drove him away. Hang, will we continue to sell milk tea tomorrow? Yes, why not if it's so profitable? Zhu Hang smiled, let's make some money first. I've thought of a more profitable business. What business? Is there any business that can make more money than milk tea? Under Zhu Pengfei's expectant gaze, Zhu Hang said for words, smartphone. Chapter 10 Career Blueprint. What is a smartphone? Zhu Pengfei was dumbfounded, looking not very smart. He knew about mobile phones. This was the first time he had heard of a smartphone. You won't understand even if I tell you. You'll know when the time comes. At present, the domestic mobile phone market is dominated by major foreign brands, such as Nokia, TCL, Samsung, Sony Ericsson, etc. The domestic market alone has made these manufacturers rich. And domestic brand mobile phones are still in the stage of Philips knockoffs. Such as Huawei, Xiaomi, Honor, OV, etc., these national brands that will occupy half of the domestic mobile phone market in the future have not yet risen. One of Zhu Hang's classmates has used a knockoff phone. No matter the quality, function, or appearance, it is far from comparable to foreign mobile phones. But the knockoff phone is not without advantages. It is large enough to be used as a brick for self-defense. The speaker sounds like a speaker, and you can hear the music from hundreds of meters away. The battery capacity is also ridiculously large. A full charge can play music for a week without charging. Unlike later smartphones, which need to be charged several times a day, copycat phones solve the problem of battery life anxiety. The only drawback is that there was no fast charging in that era, only low-power universal chargers, which took a long time to charge. However, nowadays, mobile phones can replace the battery board, and generally people have several batteries to replace, so slow charging is not a big problem. Zhu Hang took out his Xiaolingtong and looked at the calendar. July 5, 2010. The first smartphone Zhu Hang used was the iPhone 4, but he bought it after the price reduction after the generation change. The iPhone 4 gave Zhu Hang a very good experience, so he clearly remembered some information about the iPhone. The iPhone 4 will probably be available in China at the end of July this year. The price of 16 GB is 4,999 yuan, and the price of 32 GB is 5,999 yuan. The minimum wage in Jianghai City is 1,120 yuan, and the monthly salary of ordinary working class is only about 2,000 yuan. An iPhone 4 is equivalent to several months' salary of ordinary people. It is definitely a luxury product. Now selling milk tea, at most you can only earn the money of an iPhone 4 in a day. If it goes on like this, at most you can buy 20 mobile phones by the end of the month. No. More than 20 are too few. Fatty, doesn't your relative run an agency? Ask him to help us find a group of retired aunts. What do you want to find retired aunts for? Zhu Pengfei said with a strange expression, Hang, you are not changing your taste. You don't like school beauties, but like old aunts, right? Go to hell. Zhou Hang gave a middle finger and said, "We are making money too slowly now, so I plan to find more people and set up a few more stalls to operate at the same time. If you want to earn more capital before the end of the month, expanding the scope of business is the only way. With just one stall, even if they work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., the money they can make is limited. Expanding the business is different. You can make money in different busy areas at the same time, and the efficiency will be increased many times. Speculating on iPhones is the best opportunity to make money. If you miss this opportunity, I don't know when the next opportunity to make money will come. Of course, investing in Bitcoin and real estate is also a good choice. The current price of Bitcoin is a few cents in US dollars, and the price has not risen yet, so it is worth investing. However, the investment cycle is too long, and Zhou Hang does not plan to touch it for the time being. As for real estate, it is also a good project, but a house in Jianghai City costs more than 100,000 or 200,000 yuan. With the money he has, he can't even afford a toilet. Zhou Hang will definitely not give up these two pieces of fat, but now is not the best time. He plans to save enough pills and then do a big job. Okay, I'll send a message to my cousin now and ask him to help us recruit some people. Zhu Pengfei readily agreed. He asked again, Hang, why don't you ask our classmates from number 2 middle school? I see many people in the group are looking for part-time jobs during the summer vacation. Zhu Hang laughed. Of course, he had his own considerations. Forget it. How many students can endure hardships? They are more delicate than Tang Seng. They just complain about the hardship and tiredness when they do some work. How many people are willing to work in the hot summer under the sun and set up stalls for several hours? I guess they will leave in less than 10 minutes. Inviting a group of students is like asking a group of bosses. The most taboo in doing business is to get involved with acquaintances. If you pay less, they will say that you are stingy and black-hearted. If you pay more, what can you earn? We are black merchants. How can we let others cheat us? When Zhu Hang got excited, his voice got louder, and the diners around him looked at him. Realizing that he had lost his composure, Zhu Hang lowered his voice. Retired aunts are different. The older generation is very hardworking and there is no need to worry about them quitting. And retired aunts want to find something to do to pass the time and make some extra money. They don't ask for much money. I see. After listening to Zhu Hang's analysis, Zhu Pengfei suddenly realized that what he said made sense. He almost couldn't hold it today. If it weren't for the fact that Zhu Hang was his good brother, he would have gone on strike and went home as soon as he left the community. Hang, are you going to invest all the money you earn today? Of course. If you don't invest, where will you get the money to hire people to expand the business? After hesitating for a moment, Zhu Pengfei took out 500 yuan of wages from his pocket and put it on the table, pushing it in front of Zhu Hang. Hang, can I count this 500 yuan as my investment? Zhu Pengfei's idea was very simple. He took 500 yuan and he was just working for Zhu Hang. Although Zhu Hang would not treat him unfairly, the money he earned was always limited. Investing 500 yuan would be different, then he would be one of the founders. If Zhu Hang succeeds, he would be a founding hero anyway. Har har har, you fat guy, you are so smart. Zhu Pengfei scratched his head awkwardly. He, I don't want to be a worker all my life, I also want to be a boss like you. Zhu Hang was not hypocritical and took the money. He originally wanted to pull Zhu Pengfei to work together. Since the fat guy wanted to join, it would be good to pay less salary to relieve the economic pressure. Come on, drink all these wines. Zhu Hang pressed the mouth of the beer bottle on the chair and slapped it down hard. The bottle cap fell off and fell to the ground. Go home and have a good sleep after drinking. Let's make a fortune starting tomorrow. Fuck him. Jianghai Cinema. On the big screen, the movie Lost on Journey was playing, with various funny scenes, making Zhu Jiao and her girlfriends laugh non-stop. Adultera tilde tilde adultera tilde tilde, where is my adultera? I said I went to the wrong room, do you believe it? There was laughter in the cinema, and Zhu Jiao was watching happily. Suddenly, the phone in her pocket vibrated a few times. She took out her phone and took a look. It was a QQ message sent by the note, Shy Sister. Sister, I called him but no one answered. Who is he? Zhu Jiao was stunned for a moment. After being confused for a few seconds, she realized that he was referring to Zhou Hang. Gu Jiao, if no one answers, just call a few more times. Shy sister, I called 7 or 8 times, but no one answered. Sister, I'm worried that something happened to him. Gu Jiao, he is a grown man, what could happen to him? As soon as the message was sent, Gu Jiao recalled that Zhu Pengfei said that Zhu Hang seemed to have offended a rich second generation. It's bad. Could Zhu Hang be in trouble? Gu Jiao, don't worry, I'll go back and look for him, wait for my news. Shy sister, well, okay. Gu Jiao didn't have the heart to watch a movie. After saying goodbye to her bestie, she rushed straight to Zhu Hang's house. But she knocked for a long time and there was no response. She called Zhu Hang's parents again. Both of them were working the night shift and said they didn't know where Zhu Hang went. No one answered Zhu Pengfei's call either. Stupid pig. I don't know where he ran off to. Gu Jiao was extremely anxious and rushed out of the community to look for Zhu Hang nearby, praying in her heart. God bless. Don't let anything happen to Zhu Hang. Chapter 11 Twin Sisters. Gu Jiao rushed to the gate of the community and was about to go out to look for Zhu Hang when a girl ran towards her. If Zhu Hang was here, he would be so shocked that his CPU would burn out. No matter the height, figure, or face, the girl looked exactly like Gu Jiao from head to toe. Even her hair was the same length. It was like looking in a mirror. The only difference was that they wore different styles of clothes and had completely opposite temperaments. Compared to Gu Jiao's outgoing and bright personality, the girl's temperament was more introverted and reserved. You could tell at a glance that she was a very introverted person. One of them was like the sun and the other was like the moon. Why did you come out? Gu Jiao was a little surprised. Her sister usually stayed in her room due to her personality problems and rarely went out. I didn't expect that she would go out today for the first time. I'm worried about him. The girl was about to cry, tears kept rolling in her eyes. She wanted to talk to Zhu Hang, but the latter seemed to have evaporated from the face of the earth, and the phone could not be reached. Worried that Zhu Hang would have an accident, she had to ask her sister for help. Don't worry, don't worry. Gu Jiao gently stroked the girl's back. That stupid pig should have gone out to play with the fat guy, and he will be back soon. I will go out with you to look for him. The girl agreed softly, trying not to let her tears fall. Gu Jiao took her sister's hand and ran out of the community. Along the way, the girl dodged her eyes left and right, hiding behind her sister anxiously. When she met people, she would curl up nervously and bury her face in her hands. In her eyes, passers-by were as scary as floods and beasts. She wanted to hide herself. You are so afraid of seeing people, why don't I take you home first, and I can find it by myself. The girl stuck to Gu Jiao's back, visibly afraid. Gu Jiao was worried that if she stayed outside for a while longer, her sister's condition would worsen again. No, I want to go find him. The girl's bright eyes still flashed with fear. She was obviously trembling with fear, but she still shook her head stubbornly. Okay. Gu Jiao could only compromise and said, if you feel uncomfortable, tell me and don't force yourself. Yes. After discussing, the two sisters continued to look for him. When they came to a fork in the road and passed by passers-by, they accidentally heard the conversation between them. Damn, that guy was beaten so badly. That's right, his bones are exposed, and he will have to stay in the hospital for at least half a year. What kind of hatred and grudge is it that requires such a heavy blow? I heard that it was because of jealousy over a girl. Young people nowadays are incredible. They kill people if they don't agree with each other. The two sisters trembled and had the same terrible idea in their hearts. Could that person be Zhu Hang? Gu Jiao took 2 steps at a time and chased after him. Excuse me, where is the place where you said the fight happened just now? The passerby pointed to a place not far away. It's the fork in the road that turns right ahead. There are so many people watching. There is blood on the ground. Thank you. Gu Jiao pulled her sister and ran in the direction indicated by the passerby, and soon arrived at the starting point. At this moment, the surrounding area was full of onlookers. Ambulances and police have arrived at the scene. The paramedics crossed the cordon with instruments and squatted beside the injured to check carefully. Make way! Make way! Gu Jiao used all her strength and finally squeezed out of the crowd. Stupid pig. Instantly, everyone's eyes fell on Zhou Jiao. The doctor looked up and asked, "Little girl, do you know the injured?" Zhou Jiao determined that the injured person was Zhou Hang, and wanted to say, "I know him," but her sister behind her pulled her hard to stop her. Zhou Jiao looked carefully and found that the person lying on the ground was not Zhou Hang. "Oh, sorry, we recognized the wrong person." Zhou Jiao was almost embarrassed to death after making a big mistake. She wanted to find a hole to hide in, and quickly bent down and took her sister out of the crowd. The sky was as dark as ink, and half of the moon was blocked. The two sisters searched until 10:30 in the evening, but there was still no news of Zhou Hang. "I'll take you home first. If Benju doesn't come home after 12 o'clock, I'll go to the police station to report it." The girl was a little unwilling, but she knew that it was not a solution to keep looking like this, so she could only ask the police for help. As soon as she finished speaking, she heard someone singing in the distance. Looking for the sound, she saw two drunks walking unsteadily with their arms around each other under the dim street lights. It was Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei. The two originally planned to go home and rest after drinking a box of beer, but they happened to meet the boss of the wholesale market. The other party said that as long as Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei could drink more than him, he would give them a lower price. So the two guys were completely crazy. After drinking more than a dozen boxes of beer, they finally won and knocked down the boss of the wholesale market. "It's a stupid pig." The girl also saw Zhu Hang, fearing that she would be discovered. So she trotted and hid behind a cement electric pole, sticking her head out to observe the situation. Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei took a few steps before they fell on their backs. Zhou Jiao saw this and immediately ran up and helped Zhu Hang up. "Stupid pig. Why did you drink so much?" Zhou Jiao's tone was a little angry. She and her sister had been looking for the whole night and worried for so long, but this stupid pig ran off to have fun. It would be fine if he went out to have fun, but he was so drunk. He, Uzi tilde hiccup, why are you here, hiccup tilde. Of course I came to find you. You are still the best. Come, I'll show you, hiccup tilde a magic trick. Zhu Hang's eyes were blurry and he was burping. He raised his hands above his head and made a heart shape, I love you tilde. Zhou Jiao felt angry and amused. She couldn't bear to hit Zhu Hang with her raised palm and gently pushed Zhu Hang's head. "You reek of alcohol, it stinks." Despise, but Zhou Jiao still clamped Zhu Hang's arm on her shoulders and helped him up from the ground with all her strength. Zhu Hang turned to Zhu Pengfei who was sitting on the ground and said, "Fatty tilde let's go home and continue drinking." This sentence instantly ignited Zhou Jiao's anger again. "Fatty, I told you to take good care of him. I told you to make him drink so much." She was reluctant to hit Zhu Hang, but she would not show mercy to others, so she kicked him. Zhu Pengfei just sat up, but was kicked back to the ground. Zhu Pengfei lay on the ground, pointing at the sky and cursing, "Who kicked Fatty tilde stand up tilde see if Fatty won't beat you. Drunk people are heavier than usual." Zhou Jiao is thin and weak, and it took a lot of effort to help Zhu Hang up. After walking a short distance, she couldn't hold on. "Sister, come out and help." The girl hiding in the dark ran out, and she and Zhou Jiao held Zhu Hang on the left and right, and barely stood firm. Zhou Jiao exhaled, this guy is so heavy, it's no mistake to say he is a pig." The girl smiled knowingly, and her mood suddenly brightened when she found Zhu Hang. Chapter 12 Marry you and take you home as my wife. The younger sister looked back at Zhu Pengfei lying on the ground, and felt that it was not good to leave him alone there. "Sister, are we not going to leave the fat boy alone? We can't carry him. Just call his parents and pick him up." "Yeah." Zhu Hang was already drunk as a muddy mess, twisting around like a boneless person, and the two sisters fell east and west because of him. It was like a snake walking out of an S shape. The two sisters took great effort to clamp Zhu Hang in the middle, and finally fixed him to stop him from moving around. Zhu Hang glanced to the left, and then to the right. Two identical faces. Drunk Zhu Hang didn't realize anything was wrong at all, and laughed foolishly. "This is a grapefruit, burp tilde then who are you?" "I know, you are also a grapefruit, burp tilde. No. Zhu Hang touched his face, his features wrinkled. He counted with his fingers, 1 grapefruit, 2 grapefruits, why are there 2 grapefruits? Stupid pig. Why drink so much wine for no reason? Zhou Jiao spat, She was really mad at Zhou Hang. The younger sister smiled, she thought Zhou Hang looked cute when he was drunk. Grapefruit, I tell you, brother will make a lot of money soon. Zhou Hang burped while talking, which made the two sisters feel choked up. They had the urge to stuff his mouth. TSK, I don't believe you. You have the energy to brag, why don't you walk properly and save us some energy? Gu Jiao didn't think so. Zhou Hang's mouth is more deceptive than a ghost. Since they met, Zhou Hang had fooled her countless times. If she still believed Zhou Hang's lies, she would have to have a problem with her IQ. Who is bragging? Zhou Hang tilted his head unconvinced. Brother made 6,000 yuan today. Wait until brother makes more money and marry you home. Are you serious? Gu Jiao stared at Zhou Hang, with 3 parts of expectation, 3 parts of surprise, and 4 parts of joy in her eyes. She knew that Zhou Hang was talking nonsense after drinking, but she still wanted to hear Zhou Hang say it again. Of course it's true. Hiccup tilde tilde tilde. Getting a positive answer from Zhou Hang, Gu Jiao smiled and was very happy. Hearing Zhou Hang say that he wanted to marry her sister home, a trace of loneliness flashed in the girl's eyes. TSK, I don't believe it. Don't you like that Li Chuxia? I don't like men that others don't want. Gu Jiao said stubbornly. Who likes her? She is not as good to me as you are. HMPH, you still have some conscience. Gu Jiao showed a satisfied smile. It was worth it that she had been looking for him for several hours and was bitten by mosquitoes. Then I will wait for you to become successful, but marrying me will cost you a lot of money, can you afford it? Who are you looking down on? Zhou Hang shook his head and said, I will give you as much as you want. 88,000, can you afford it? Gu Jiao is not a girl who pursues material things. In her cognition, the betrothal gift is just a process of traditional customs. If you get married for the betrothal gift, it will tarnish the word love. According to the customs of Jianghai, the bride will return twice the amount. Then the dowry and the betrothal gift are taken back to the new house together, which is equivalent to the fund given by the 2 elders to the newlyweds. There is no special situation like in some places where the betrothal gift is used to buy a house for the brother-in-law and the dowry is only 2 quilts. Of course, if they really like each other, Gu Jiao can also not ask for a dowry. Isn't it said that the truth comes out after drinking? She said she wanted a dowry just to test Zhou Hang and see what this guy would say. Why are you silent? Stop arguing. Zhou Hang said confidently, 1 8 equals 8, 2 8s equals 16. Isn't it 176,000? My dad can afford it. Stupid pig, I only want 88,000, it seems you are really drunk. You are drunk. Zhou Hang said reasonably, 1 grapefruit is 88,000, 2 grapefruits are 176,000, no problem, I didn't calculate it wrong. The 2 sisters looked at each other. Is this shameless guy really drunk or pretending to be drunk? Want to marry both of them? You will be so beautiful. Come on, brother is happy today, give me a kiss. Zhou Hang kissed Gu Jiao's cheek hard, then looked at the girl on the other side. Fair and just, both grapefruits should be kissed. Zhou Hang kissed him again. The 2 sisters were surprised and delighted. When they calmed down, they found that Zhou Hang had completely fallen asleep. The next day, the sunlight passed through the gap in the bed curtains, like a sharp sword, piercing the darkness and illuminating the room. Zhou Hang woke up in a daze, his head aching, and scratched his messy hair like a bird's nest. How did I get back yesterday? Zhou Hang took his phone and took a look. He found that it was almost 12 o'clock, so he threw off the quilt and jumped off the bed. All the raw materials for making milk tea were used up. He had to go to the wholesale market to purchase goods today, and he also had to interview a retired aunt. There were a lot of things waiting for him to do. Zhou Hang cursed in his heart that drinking had delayed things. He simply packed up and didn't even bother to change his clothes. He contacted Zhu Pengfei and went out. He met Gu Jiao who was about to go out downstairs. Yuzu? Zhou Hang waved and said hello, then ran up and hooked Gu Jiao's shoulders. Wake up, I thought you died of alcohol poisoning. How do you know I drank? You sent me home yesterday. What else? Don't you remember what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday? Zhou Hang frowned. He really blacked out yesterday, and his memory stayed before he drank. No matter how hard he thought, he couldn't remember what happened yesterday. I can't remember. Zhu Jiao breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that you can't remember. Then Zhou Hang didn't know that there were two Zhu Jiao. Zhu Jiao asked with some expectation, then do you remember what you said to me yesterday? Zhou Hang shook his head, I don't remember, what did I say? Humph. Zhu Jiao was immediately furious, stepped hard on Zhou Hang, and left without looking back. What a heartless guy. You said you wanted to marry me yesterday. You forgot it today. You really can't believe even a single punctuation mark in a man's words. His tilde. Zhou Hang grimaced in pain, holding his feet and jumping up and down on the spot. What a mystery. Why did this girl suddenly get angry? Zhou Hang endured the pain and limped to the gate of the community to meet Zhu Pengfei. Fatty, are you and your cousin getting along? We've made an appointment, let's just go over and pick someone. Hang, why is your foot lame? Achoo. Don't mention it, Fatty, how did you catch a cold? I still want to ask you. How did you get home yesterday? You left me lying on the street all night, and I was woken up by the cold in the middle of the night. Chapter 13 Recruiting Troops and Expanding Operations. After sending Zhou Hang home last night, Zhu Jiao wanted to call Zhu Pengfei's family, but the two sisters were busy taking care of Zhou Hang. Help him wash his face, wipe his body, and change his clothes. After finishing all the work, he was too tired to move, and he had completely forgotten about notifying Zhu Pengfei's parents to pick up someone on the roadside. How did you get home yesterday? Zhu Pengfei stared at Zhou Hang and asked. He vaguely remembered that they both drank a lot of wine yesterday and walked home while singing together. When he woke up, Zhou Hang was gone, and he was lying on the roadside like a stray dog. I was picked up by a corpse yesterday. What the hell? You were picked up by a corpse. Zhu Pengfei tugged at Zhou Hang and glanced at his butt. Is your anus okay? I heard that there are few gays in this generation who specifically target male students. Fuck you, the one who picked me up was a woman, okay? Woman. Zhu Pengfei immediately became interested and bit his back teeth with envy. Too much. Why did they pick you up and not me? Why don't you have any idea? Zhou Hang joked, have you ever seen a beautiful woman carrying a pig home? Get lost. Zhu Pengfei cursed, came up with a gossipy face, and raised his elbow to poke Zhou Hang's side waist. Is that woman pretty? Of course she is pretty, that girl is as good as Li Chuxia, and even has a better figure than Li Chuxia. So pretty. Zhu Pengfei was surprised. Li Chuxia is the real school belle of number 2 middle school. To be able to compete with her, this girl must be at least a school belle level beauty. Did anything happen between you two? Of course, no. Zhu Hang slapped Zhu Pengfei on the back of his head. You know that girl too, it's Yuzi. It's Yuzi. Then nothing must have happened between you two. His father and cousin are both policemen. You wouldn't dare to mess around even if you had 10 guts. Bullshit, who am I, Zhu Hang, afraid of? If I hadn't been drunk, I would have killed Yuzi on the spot. Zhu Hang was stubborn. He was indeed a little afraid of Uncle Jiu. Otherwise, he would have eaten up such a delicious grass by his nest, and there would be no residue left. Why would he pursue Li Chuxia? You are awesome, okay? I hope you can still be so stubborn when Yuzi's family comes to your door. Get lost, stop talking nonsense, and do serious things first. The two took a taxi to Zhu Pengfei's cousin's agency, where more than a dozen retired aunts came for the interview. In order to save time, Zhu Hang gathered all the applicants together for the interview. Hello, aunts. My name is Zhu Hang, and this is my partner, Mr. Zhu Pengfei. Our main business is to set up stalls, and we sell beverages that young people like to drink. Zhu Hang first introduced it solemnly, and then informed the working hours. During the summer vacation, the flow of people is very huge, whether during the day or at night, so Zhu Hang does not intend to miss the lunch and dinner markets. In this way, the time for setting up stalls will be longer. Some aunties just want to kill time, not to make money, and they can't accept too long working hours, so they choose to give up on the spot. Of course, some aunties have difficult family finances and want to make more money to subsidize their families, so they choose to stay. After screening out some people, Zhu Hang began to structure the salary. Retired workers do not need to pay social security, so Zhu Hang is also very generous and gives a salary of 12 yuan per hour. In addition, there is a meal allowance of 20 yuan per day, and Zhu Hang also covers both lunch and dinner. At first Zhu Hang wanted to give 15 yuan per hour, but then he thought, he is a black-hearted profiteer, how can he give so much money? So the wage standard was lowered to 12 yuan per hour. After hearing the conditions given by Zhou Hang, the ants looked unbelievable and thought they were hallucinating. Usually, part-time workers earn less than regular workers. Take KFC for example. Part-time workers only earn 10 yuan per hour, but Zhou Hang's price is 20% higher than KFC. Most part-time workers don't provide meals, but Zhou Hang gives 20 yuan a day for meals, which is almost as high as many regular companies. From a certain perspective, Zhou Hang the conditions offered are more humane than those of large companies. In many places, meals are free at work, but if you don't eat, you won't get paid. Zhou Hang actually gives you the money. 20 yuan. It's equivalent to getting 2 hours of wages for free. You can eat when you want to eat after you get the money. If you don't want to eat, you can save the money and bring your own meals from home. 20 yuan. It's equivalent to getting 2 hours of wages for free. In this regard, Zhou Hang is more humane than companies. Young man, the conditions you offer are so good, are you lying? An auntie expressed her concerns. Although the welfare benefits offered by Zhou Hang are a bit worse than those of regular companies, they are far better than many part-time jobs. It's really hard to believe. Don't worry, aunties, our wages are paid daily, and they will be settled on the spot after get off work, and they will never be delayed. Actually, monthly payment is the best for Zhou Hang, which can temporarily relieve the financial pressure and invest the money earned to quickly expand the market. However, he is now in need of people. He is a company with no reputation and no reputation. Who would be willing to work for him without getting paid? Zhou Hang was unwilling, so he could only choose daily payment. The aunt's concerns were completely dispelled. Looking around the world, there are not many part-time jobs with such good treatment, and the salary is settled on a daily basis. Even if Zhou Hang is a liar, at most he will be cheated of 1 day's salary, and he will not lose much. After thinking it through, the aunts rushed to join. Zhou Hang calculated in his mind. The cost of setting up a stall before was about 1,500 yuan. Yesterday and the wholesaler boss drank and got the price of raw materials down, but there was an additional labor cost. The price of setting up a stall should be about the same as before. He only had 6,000 yuan on hand, and could only set up 4 stalls at most. If he set up more, it would exceed the budget. So Zhou Hang chose 4 of the aunts. He also left the contact information of other aunts. When the scale expanded again in a while, there would be many more places to hire people. The recruitment of employees was over. Zhu Pengfei went home to draw a new signboard. Zhou Hang went to the wholesale market to purchase goods, bought a few tricycles, and set up a few new mobile stalls. The money in his pocket was spent cleanly. Zhou Hang couldn't help but sigh, it's easy to spend money, but it's hard to make money. There is strength in numbers. With the addition of the aunts, Zhou Hang and his team have greatly improved their efficiency in making milk tea. The aunts have never had milk tea before. When they found out that there is no milk or tea in milk tea, their 3 views were shattered. But they don't care how the milk tea is made. They don't drink it. As long as they can make money, it's fine. Everything is ready, everyone is here. Let's go. Make a lot of money today. Chapter 14 Net worth breaks the million mark. Zhou Hang assigned 4 aunties to different locations. One of the aunties took over Zhou Hang and Zhu Pengfei's stall in Helen Square, and the other 3 were assigned to Children's Park, Children's Palace, and Aquarium. These places have huge traffic, no worse than Helen Square. It is conservatively estimated that the income can be several times higher than the first day of setting up the stall. As for Zhou Hang and Zhu Pengfei, they moved from the front line to work behind the scenes. Zhou Hang sat cross-legged on the floor with an iron bucket in front of him, constantly adding things to it. Water, put it in. Carrageenan, put it in. Food coloring, protein powder, white sugar, food additives, put it in. After a crazy operation, it was put in the refrigerator to freeze. A few hours later, Zhou Hang took the things out of the refrigerator. Hang, what is this thing you made? Ice cream. Zhu Pengfei scooped a spoonful and tasted it lightly. Sure enough, it tasted exactly the same as the round ice cream sold outside. Hang, you are good. You can do this. Zhu Pengfei was convinced and asked again, why do you add glue to ice cream? It's called carrageenan, and it is edible. What is it? Glue can be eaten. Zhu Pengfei was confused. If Zhou Hang hadn't said it, he wouldn't know that carrageenan existed in the world. Zhou Hang explained, carrageenan has the function of thickening and solidifying. After adding it, ice cream will not melt so easily. The jelly, cakes, 8 treasure porridge, and soft candy we eat all contain carrageenan. Carrageenan has been widely used in the food industry. It's just that people in the past didn't pay attention to the ingredient list, so they were unfamiliar with carrageenan as a food additive. Zhou Hang didn't know about carrageenan before. It was later that a certain internet celebrity brand of ice cream was exposed to have added a lot of carrageenan, which would not melt even if it was grilled on charcoal. Zhou Hang learned about carrageenan. Dark. Too damn dark. Since he started to work in the catering industry, Zhu Pengfei realized that there were tricks in this industry. Milk tea has no milk and tea, and ice cream also has none of the ingredients. It's darker than he imagined. Various food additives that he had never seen emerged in an endless stream, refreshing his cognition again and again. Now he has no appetite when he sees those snacks. Who knows what was added to them? The saying that all businessmen are cunning is absolutely true. Hang, why did you suddenly think of making ice cream? Of course I'll sell it. Zhu Hang explained seriously, our current products are too simple. Even if milk tea is cheap and delicious, you will feel sick of it if you drink too much. Zhu Pengfei nodded in agreement. The first cup of milk tea tastes good, but you will feel sick of it from the second cup onwards. Even he, a fanatical fan of milk tea, can only drink 2 cups a day at most, and he can't drink more than that. If we want to do better business and last longer, we must make our products more diversified to attract more customers with different tastes. That makes sense, our Hang is still more fragrant. By the time you think of it, the daylily will be cold. Zhu Pengfei scratched his head embarrassedly. Zhu Hang had thought of everything. He only needed to read it briefly without much effort. Doing business with Zhu Hang is no different from picking up money. Our Hang, thank you. I know you can make a lot of money by yourself. It's only because of our friendship that you took me to play together for many years. As he spoke, Zhu Pengfei's eyes were red. Don't cry for me. You are not working. Deliver the finished ice cream to each stall one by one later. Zhu Hang threw a pack of tissues to Zhu Pengfei. He took Zhu Pengfei to do business together, of course, because he wanted his good brother to live a good life, and everyone got rich together, so that Zhu Pengfei would not be deceived to be castrated in northern Myanmar in the future. The most important thing is that Zhu Hang really doesn't like the feeling of Zhu Pengfei staring at his crotch all day after being castrated. He doesn't want to be worried every day, and be invested by Zhu Pengfei when he fell asleep one day. I am a steel straight man. Bang bang hard. Garga straight. I will refuse to be gay from me. With continuous efforts, Zhu Hang's stall income is getting higher and higher, and the number of stalls has increased from 4 to 15. There are more than a dozen products. Fresh lemonade, beaten small lime, 3-color ball ice cream are their signature drink. Reset to 0 tilde tilde reset to 0 tilde tilde. Zhu Hang sat at the table, calculating the accounts. It has been almost a month since the first day of setting up the stall, and his small treasury has increased countless times. Excluding employee wages, raw materials, dividends to Zhu Pengfei and other expenses, Zhu Hang's wealth has exceeded the 1 million mark. A small part of the profit was used by Zhu Hang to smooth relations. Setting up stalls at the entrance of those amusement parks always requires giving some benefits to their senior management, otherwise they would have been driven away by security guards long ago. If Zhu Hang didn't give these people red envelopes, he could make more money. However, in terms of human relations, you must invest enough money and not save money, otherwise someone might make trouble for you behind your back. Not bad, it's finally on track. Compared to the male protagonists in those super-rich novels who make hundreds of millions as soon as they appear on the screen, Zhu Hang's 1 million is just a drop in the bucket. But he is already very satisfied. 1 million is not a small amount, and it is definitely considered middle class. Besides, he only took 1 month to make so much money, and there will be continuous income in the future. Give him more time, the money he earns will be a very scary number. Just use the money he earns to buy a house and become a lousy landlord. House prices are not expensive at the moment, and Zhu Hang can easily buy 2 or 3 houses with the money he has. It can be considered as barely fulfilling his dream of retiring before graduating from college. However, Zhu Hang immediately gave up this idea. If he has more children in the future, 2 or 3 houses will not be enough to share, and what kind of rent should he collect? In Zhou Hang's ideal family, there must be at least 2 daughters. At least he must make 100 million before he is qualified to lie down. Creaky tilde tilde. The door was pushed open, and it was Zhu Pengfei who came back after delivering the goods. Looking at the piles of 100 yuan bills on the ground, Zhu Pengfei stood there and couldn't walk. His eyeballs almost popped out. He had never seen so much money. Hang, there are 5 million here, right? No, only 1 million. Zhou Hang picked up the plastic bag on the sofa and threw it to Zhu Pengfei. Don't be jealous, these are your dividends. Zhu Pengfei couldn't wait to open the plastic bag and pour the money on the table. There were 10 stacks of money. 1 stack is 10,000, and 10 stacks are 100,000. Hang, Zhu Pengfei was moved to tears. He just helped run errands and didn't make any great contributions. Zhu Hang actually gave him so much money. 100,000. How many families can't save money for several years without food or drink? Zhu Hang laughed and scolded, "Don't put on that womanly look in front of me. This is what you deserve." Zhu Pengfei didn't say thank you again. Good brother. In my heart. By the way, Hang. Zhu Pengfei remembered something. The squad leader said that Zhao Qiong organized a class reunion and asked if we would go. Chapter 15. Someone is paying attention to your old lover. Class reunion. Zhu Hang muttered to himself and repeated it. Seeing his confusion, Zhu Pengfei took the initiative to explain. The class monitor said that everyone will go their separate ways after graduation, and they don't know when they will meet again, so they organized a class reunion for everyone to get together. I see. Zhu Hang nodded. Graduating from high school means becoming an adult, which is equivalent to saying goodbye to one's adolescence and starting another new life. So many students will organize graduation trips and graduation parties to commemorate their adolescence that is about to be lost. Before leaving, formally say goodbye to the friends who have been classmates for 3 years. I understand the reason, but what does Zhao Qiong have to do with our class graduation party? Why is he here to join in the fun? Zhao Qiong is from class 5, Zhu Hang and his classmates are from class 3, and there is class 4 in between. Even if people from class 4 come to the class 3 party, Zhu Hang thinks it is reasonable, because there is a wall between everyone, and many classmates know each other. But Zhao Qiong has no relationship with them, and it is not his turn to attend the class 3 party even if he is close. Oh, Zhao Qiong, you don't know him yet. Zhu Pengfei looked contentious. In your words, he is a dead dog of Li Chuxia just like you. Zhu Hang's face was as black as charcoal. You keep scolding me. You keep scolding me. Don't hit people in the face. You scolded me in front of me, isn't it a bit too arrogant? Realizing that he had said the wrong thing, Zhu Pengfei slapped himself in the mouth. I'm not scolding you, I'm saying that you used to be a bootlicker, I mean you're not a bootlicker now. Zhu Pengfei made things worse and quickly changed the subject. It's obvious that he has other intentions. He wants to take advantage of this gathering to hit on your old lover. Stop. Don't talk nonsense. What old lover? Zhu Hang interrupted quickly. Everyone in Jianghai City knows that I, Zhu Hang, am pure and innocent, and I have kept my chastity for 18 years. It doesn't matter if you ruin Li Chuxia's reputation, but I'm a virgin. If you ruin my reputation, I'll fight you to the death. Oh tilde. Zhu Pengfei almost vomited the overnight meal. I am so disgusted. Shameless, these idioms are not enough to describe Zhu Hang's shamelessness. What did Zhu Hang say? Yes, don't be shameless. Zhu Hang was punished by the principal and criticized by the whole school because of his excessive enthusiasm in pursuing Li Chuxia. From the faculty and principal to all the students in number 2 middle school, everyone knows that Zhu Hang had pursued Li Chuxia crazily before. But this guy is now completely dismissed, as if the person pursuing Li Chuxia was not him. He is really shameless. Hang, then shall we go? No. Zhu Hang refused decisively. All the classmates in the class lived in the same town, and some even lived in the community opposite. If they didn't go to the battlefield and couldn't come back, they would have no chance to meet each other, so what was the point of getting together? I have the spare money for the party, so I might as well keep it for myself to go out for food and drinks. When high school students go out to eat and have fun, they basically go AA, and no one will take the initiative to ask to pay the bill. Because everyone has little money in their pockets. Zhou Hang's idea is very simple. A few hundred yuan is not much for him, but it is not worth spending on classmates who will never contact each other again. It is better to buy some snacks and skin care products for his angel investor, Ms. Jiu Jiao. Zhu Pengfei waved his hand. No need to spend money. The class monitor said that Zhao Qiang, the idiot, will treat us. You also know that this idiot likes to show off. Li Chuxia will also go to the party. How could he miss this opportunity to show off in front of your old lover? I emphasize again that Li Chuxia is not my old lover. I have always followed the principle of studying hard, making progress every day, not falling in love early, not getting pregnant early, and striving to be a good youth in the new era. Zhu Hang said nonsense seriously. Okay, then are you going or not? Of course. Zhu Hang said confidently, why not go if there is a big enemy treating you and you can eat and drink for free? Okay, then I will tell the monitor, and we will both go. Bai Boutique. Boutique is a small store that specializes in selling all kinds of exquisite clothing products. The price is cheap and the product quality is good. You can buy most of the women's products you want here. So it is one of the most popular stores for girls. Boutique on the second floor. Li Chuxia was half squatting to select products. She was accompanied by her best friend Shinshishia and the female monitor Zhengxini. Chuxia, are you going to the class reunion tomorrow? When Shinshishia heard about the party, Li Chuxia hadn't even had time to speak, but Shinshishia snatched the right to speak. Class monitor, where is the class reunion scheduled for this time? It's scheduled in the Dragon and Phoenix private room of the Platinum Palace Hotel. Wow, Platinum Palace Hotel? Or a private room? Shinshishia shouted in surprise. The Platinum Palace Hotel is one of the best hotels in the district, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it is the leader in the hotel industry. Shinshishia has never been there, but she has heard that the prices there are very expensive. Especially the private rooms have a minimum consumption, which often starts at 4 digits. After a meal, it may not be enough for ordinary people to spend 1 or 2 months' salary. If you eat seafood and order top-quality red wine, the upper limit is even more exaggerated. Beauty, excuse me, please keep your voice down and don't disturb other customers. The waiter ran over and reminded her with a smile on his face. Excuse me. Realizing that everyone around was looking at her, Shinshishia quickly covered her mouth and tried to lower her voice. The Platinum Palace Hotel is so expensive, how can we afford it? Zhengxini pushed her glasses on the bridge of her nose. No need to spend money, Zhao Qiang will come when the time comes, he will pay the bill. Shinshishia suddenly realized. It is estimated that only Zhao Qiang, a young man in the whole school, can afford to spend money at the Platinum Palace Hotel. This Zhao Qiang is obviously coming for Chuxia. Shinshishia revealed Zhao Qiang's intention in one sentence, and Zhengxini nodded in agreement. The two looked at Li Chuxia at the same time. Everyone is not a fool, Zhao Qiang's intention is too obvious. A person from class 5 is busy organizing a classmate reunion for their class 3. No one believes that Zhao Qiang is so kind-hearted. If you are too attentive for no reason, you are either a traitor or a thief. Chuxia, are you going? Zhengxini asked again. I have something to do, so I won't go. Have fun. Hearing that Zhao Qiang would also go, Li Chuxia frowned and decisively refused to attend the class reunion. Both Zhao Qiang and Zhu Hang had pursued her passionately. But the two are fundamentally different. Zhu Hang used his perseverance to tell Li Chuxia that he was sincere. Li Chuxia's heart was conquered by Zhu Hang without her knowing it. Zhao Qiang's way of pursuing her was also simple and rough. He often bought some expensive gifts for her. If she didn't want them, Zhao Qiang would force them on her. He also spread rumors everywhere, saying that she was his woman. In comparison, Zhu Hang's approach was more gentle. Zhao Qiang's approach would bring her a huge psychological burden. Even a little disgusted. Chapter 16 Class Reunion, Platinum Palace Hotel. Let me check the news. The cell phone hanging on her chest vibrated slightly. Zhengxini picked it up and took a look at it. Shinshishia immediately came over to ask curious questions. Monitor, are you chatting with your boyfriend? Don't talk nonsense, I don't have a boyfriend. Zhengxini replied with an okay expression, and then explained, it was Zhu Pengfei who sent me the message. Oh. So you and Zhu Pengfei are having an affair? Shinshishia raised her eyebrows. Squad leader, I didn't realize you like chubby little guys. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll beat you up. Zheng Sini stamped her feet angrily. Shinshisha stopped when she saw that things were going well and asked, okay, I won't talk nonsense anymore. What does Zhu Pengfei want to talk to you about? What else could it be except a class reunion? Zheng Sini put the merchandise in her hand back on the shelf. Zhu Pengfei said that he and Zhou Hang will come to the class reunion. Hearing this, Li Chuxia, who was concentrating on selecting goods, paused and a light flashed in her eyes. Li Chuxia asked casually, Sini, what day did you say the class reunion was? Tomorrow, what's the matter? Tomorrow? Then I'll go with you. Didn't you say you had something to do tomorrow? Zheng Sini looked confused. He knew that Li Chuxia didn't like Zhao Qiang and would probably find an excuse not to go. Li Chuxia did exactly that just now. Why did you change your mind so suddenly? Shinshisha's eyes flickered. She and Li Chuxia had been close friends for so many years, and she could see through Li Chuxia's little thoughts at a glance. I just want to meet Zhu Hang. Oh, I remembered it wrongly. I have something to do the day after tomorrow. I will be free tomorrow. Li Chuxia found a random excuse to get out of it, and said with a sweet smile, this is the last class reunion for our senior year 3 class. Everyone is going, so of course I can't be absent. Oh well. Zheng Sini had no doubts and agreed readily. Anyway, there is Zhao Qiang, a big complainer, to pay the bill, so it doesn't make any difference whether there is one more or one less person. Besides, Li Chuxia is also a member of class 3. It's impossible for me to stop Li Chuxia from going just because she wants to. I'll go pay the bill first, you guys take your time choosing. Li Chuxia smiled as beautifully as a flower, took the hairband she had chosen, and ran to the cashier to pay. Zheng Sini murmured to herself, what's wrong with Chuxia? It seems that my mood has improved a lot all of a sudden. You really are. Shinshisha looked unhappy. Zhu Han will go to the class reunion, we can just go by ourselves, why did you tell Chuxia? Why can't you tell Chuxia? Why are you so angry? Zheng Sini felt a little confused. She knew that Zhu Hang had pursued Li Chuxia, and Li Chuxia had also taken the initiative to confess her love to Zhu Hang before, but was rejected by Zhu Hang. In Zheng Sini's opinion, the two of them were in love, and there must be some misunderstanding between them, which is why they didn't get together. It's a good opportunity to bring them together during the class reunion. By the way, it also stopped that playboy Zhao Qiang from thinking about Li Chuxia. Why not do something that kills two birds with one stone? If Zhu Hangjin and Li Chuxia were together, Shinshisha, as their best friend, should be happy for them. But not only did Shinshisha not give her blessings, she also got angry for no reason. I'm not angry, I just don't want to talk to you. Shinshisha snorted proudly, lost interest in shopping, and ran out of the boutique angrily. What is going on? Zheng Sini was completely confused. Could it be that Shinshisha is afraid that Zhu Han will cheat on Li Chuxia and that her best friend will get hurt? No. Zheng Sini doesn't know much about relationships between men and women, but as the class monitor, she has to communicate with teachers every day. Gradually, I have developed the ability to read people's expressions. Just now, she noticed that when Shinshisha was blaming herself for telling Li Chuxia that Zhu Hang was attending the class reunion, a different color flashed in her eyes. That is. Yes, it's jealousy. How strange. Shinshisha is Li Chuxia's best friend, why is she jealous of Li Chuxia? The next day, Zhu Hang got up early in the morning as he was going to attend a class reunion today, but he couldn't delay his business. After a busy morning, he and Zhu Pengfei finally managed to make all the things they were going to sell today. The aunties who manage the stalls will come to collect the goods on time. Aunties, I'm sorry, we have to go to a class reunion today and don't have time to deliver the goods to you, so I can only ask you to run once. Zhu Pengfei was originally responsible for the delivery. But I have to attend a class reunion today, and I can't let the fat guy go out and run around all sweaty. How will he face people then? The classmates were almost fainted by his stench. It's okay, it's not far anyway. Xiao Zhou, don't be polite to us. Then let's go set up the stall first, and have fun. After watching all the aunts leave, Zhu Hang turned around and went upstairs. Hang, these aunties are nice. They came to pick up the goods in the hot weather without any complaints. Nonsense, they are paid so well, how can they complain? The aunties are nice people, but the most important thing is that the salary Zhu Hang gives them is higher than the market price, so they are full of enthusiasm when doing their work. If you have complaints, it's because you're not paid enough. As long as the money is in place, there will be no complaints. It ensures that employees smile at their boss every day. Zhou Hang and Zhu Pengfei went home to wash up and met at the entrance of the community. After waiting for a while, Zhu Hang finally arrived. He was wearing a white t-shirt and beige shorts, and the Adidas slippers on his feet were particularly eye-catching. He was dressed like a landlord from Guangdong province. "Brother, are you going to attend a class reunion wearing this? Any questions? I think this one looks good." Zhu Hang only pays attention to two words when it comes to dressing comfortable. What's the point of looking good if the clothes are uncomfortable? Besides, it's just a class reunion, not a wedding or blind date, so there's no need to be so serious. Zhu Pengfei didn't persuade him much. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, a taxi with a vacant sign finally passed by. Zhu Pengfei raised his hand and waved, and the taxi stopped in front of them. "It's so hot. This car is so hard to drive." Zhu Pengfei kept complaining. In the days when there were no taxi apps, getting a taxi depended entirely on luck. If you are lucky, several empty trucks will come at the same time to grab your business. If you are unlucky, you may not see a single empty truck even after waiting for half an hour. Zhu Hang had another inspiration. In a few years, when mobile phones mature, we will be able to develop a taxi hailing app. By the way, there are also food delivery platforms that are good. People cannot live without food, clothing, housing, and transportation. As long as you do business around these four elements, you will definitely make money. However, from app development to grabbing market share, every link is burning money. Even if Zhu Hang invested all his money now, it wouldn't make any waves. However, it will take several years for smartphones to become popular and mature, so he has enough time to make money. By then, I will sweep the business world. Chapter 17 Platinum Palace Hotel, a den of luxury for the rich. Zhu Hang was still planning his business blueprint. When he came to his senses, he found that he had reached his destination. The car stopped in front of the Platinum Palace Hotel. Pay and get off. Go through the revolving door and into the lobby. The fountain pool, Roman columns, crystal chandeliers, the entire hotel decoration can only be described as magnificent. Zhu Pengfei looked around. In fact, it's no wonder that he looks like he has never seen the world. The Platinum Palace Hotel is well known locally. It is famous for its high costs and is a den of luxury for the wealthy. Zhu Pengfei was born into an ordinary working-class family, and was a student in the poorest period. How can you be qualified to spend money at Platinum Palace? He stood at the door and took a look but didn't dare to go any closer, for fear that people would ask him for the fee. Hang, this hotel is so luxurious." Zhu Pengfei was very excited. "I had only heard about the Platinum Palace Hotel before, but I didn't expect it to be more luxurious, high-end and classy than I had heard." "Calm down. Don't act like an inexperienced person. People will think you just escaped from the mountains." Zhu Hang used to have to socialize frequently for work, and every time he negotiated business, he would choose to receive clients at the Platinum Palace Hotel. Coming here is as familiar as going home, he has long been accustomed to it. The doorman wearing white gloves crossed his hands in front of him and bowed respectfully. "Gentlemen, are you here for dinner?" The staff of high-end hotels are strictly trained and have very high quality. They will never look down on any customer because of their dress. What's more, many rich people like to dress very low-key. If they accidentally offend some big shot, their staff cannot afford the consequences. "We have friends who have reserved a private room." "Which room is this?" The Platinum Palace is very large, with 12 banquet halls and more than 50 private rooms. Business is booming every day, and the private rooms are almost fully booked every day. Unlike some hotels, not many people book private rooms, so you know which one it is as soon as you mention it. So if you don't ask clearly which private room it is, there is really no way to confirm it. It would be embarrassing if you take people to the wrong place. Dragon and Phoenix sing together. Zhu Pengfei announced the name of the private room. The doorman immediately looked up the information of the customer who booked the private room in his mind. "Oh, this is the room reserved by Mr. Zhao Qiang, right? You must be Mr. Zhao Qiang's classmates, right? Please follow me." "No need, just go ahead and do your thing. We know their way and can just go in by ourselves." Zhu Hang waved his hand, refusing to let the doorman lead the way. He knew the Platinum Palace very well. He had been there countless times in his previous life and knew exactly which room had a secret door. He even knew some of the unspoken rules of the Platinum Palace. As long as you have money, no matter which country's foreign horse you want to ride, they can arrange one for you within half an hour. Zhou Hang didn't know this before and simply thought that Platinum Palace was just an expensive hotel. Later, he met a big client worth tens of billions, who was also a regular customer of Platinum Palace. After he took Zhou Hang to have a look, more than a dozen beauties of various skin colors stood in a row in front of him, allowing you to experience the enjoyment of being surrounded by beautiful girls and being like an emperor. King Zhou's feasting and drinking was nothing more than this. Zhou Hang only then realized that Platinum Palace had so many tricks. That's why rich people never get tired of it and like to come to the Platinum Palace to play. The doorman didn't say anything more and returned to his job. Zhou Hang had already suggested not to lead the way. If he objected, wouldn't that be disrespecting Zhou Hang? Looking at Zhou Hang's departing back, the doorman showed a look of doubt in his eyes. He remembered the appearance of every customer who had come to Platinum Palace and had no idea about Zhou Hang. He was quite sure that this was Zhou Hang's first visit to Platinum Palace. Since it was his first time here, why was he so confident that he could find a private room? Hang, do you really know the way? Don't go the wrong way. Just put your mind at ease and follow me. The two took the elevator to the third floor, and after turning left and right, they stopped in front of a big door. Zhou Hang was about to push the door open when Zhu Pengfei stopped him. Hang, are you sure this is the room? Sure, trust me. Zhu Hang pushed the door open with force. What comes into view is a stove, and a group of chefs in work clothes are busy cooking around the stove. Zhu Pengfei was speechless. Is this a fucking private room? It's obviously the kitchen. Didn't you say you knew him? Zhu Pengfei glanced at Zhu Hang and said, the doorman was leading the way, but you insisted on pretending to be someone you knew. Now that's better. Those who knew that we had come to the wrong place, and those who didn't thought that we were here to apply for the job of a cupboard clerk. Zhu Hang was almost embarrassed to death. No, I remember correctly, this location should be the Dragon and Phoenix private room. The next second, Zhu Hang remembered. The Platinum Palace was later renovated and had more than a dozen private rooms. He went to the renovated Platinum Palace. That's why the coordinates of the private room are deviated. A middle-aged man wearing a tall hat came over, and it was obvious at first glance that he was the head chef. Young man, are you here to apply for the job of dishwasher? Zhu Hang. Zhu Pengfei. Sorry, we went the wrong way. The two of them ran away in a hurry. After walking a distance, Zhu Pengfei asked, why don't we go back and find the doorman and let him lead the way? No, you have no shame, but I still have some. This was Zhu Hang's last stubbornness. Just now he said confidently that there was no need for a lead, but now he is running back in shame to find someone to lead the way. He must be laughed at to death. Don't worry, I have a way to find a private room. What can you do? Ask for directions. I don't know if it was bad luck, but the two of them didn't see a single waiter along the way. After many twists and turns, I finally found a target. The door is walnut-colored, the handles are made of pure silver, and a doorplate with the words Dragon and Phoenix singing together is hung on the door beam. Hang opened the door. Going to the wrong place left a big shadow on Zhu Pengfei. Look at you, you're such a coward. What's there to be afraid of when opening a door? Zhu Hang raised his arms, covering most of his face, and then pushed open the door. When they heard the person opening the door, everyone in the room looked over. Zhu Pengfei finally breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the familiar faces of his old classmates in the private room. Finally found the right one. Losing someone once was enough, he didn't want to lose him a second time. Zhu Hang put down his arm that was covering his face, patted his chest and said confidently, I just said I know the way. Believe me, you won't go wrong. TSK tilde tilde. Zhu Pengfei looked disdainful. If there weren't so many people around, he would have given Zhu Hang the middle finger. I just believed you and almost got caught and forced to work as a dishwasher in the kitchen. Chapter 18 Double Standards, Li Chuxia outshines all others. Seeing Zhu Hang and Zhu Pengfei coming, the classmates also greeted them enthusiastically. Why did you just arrive? Everyone is waiting for you. What will happen to the school hunk in our class sooner or later? Sisters, do you think so? What nonsense are you talking about? Our Hang Hang is not late, he is just late for being on time. Is there any problem? The girls stood on Zhou Hang's side without any principles and spoke for him. Zhou Hang's looks are also among the best in the school. He is very gentlemanly towards girls and often helps them. The number of girls who have a crush on him in school is just as many as those who pursue Li Chuxia. However, Zhou Hang was depressed before. Li Chuxia was the only girl in his heart and eyes. Other girls were not pleasing to him. It must be Zhu Pengfei's procrastination that caused our Hang to be late. Yes, Zhu Hang is such a punctual person, how could he be late? He must have been led astray by the fat guy. The girls were particularly tolerant of Zhu Hang, but once the topic turned to Zhu Pengfei, their attitudes immediately changed 180 degrees. It forms a sharp contrast. Without asking the reason, they put the blame on Zhu Pengfei. Ladies and gentlemen, our Hang was late because of his dawdling. If I hadn't been waiting for him, I would have arrived long ago. A girl curled her lips in disdain. Bullshit, we don't believe it. The other girls nodded in agreement. I took a shower before going out, so I was delayed. It has nothing to do with the fat man. It's my fault. It's mainly because taxis are hard to get on this road. We waited a long time before an empty taxi came. Please don't be surprised. Zhu Hang is not someone who likes to pass the buck. It was indeed the case that Zhu Pengfei arrived at the door before him. He couldn't make things up and say black was white. Well, it's okay to be late for a while. It's summer vacation now anyway, and I'm just sitting at home doing nothing. You have the courage to take responsibility for your mistakes. You are worthy of being the man I like. Our Hang, next time you go out and can't get a car, just call me and I'll ask my dad to drive you over. The girls who had previously reprimanded Zhu Pengfei now changed their attitudes and praised Zhu Hang one by one. It seemed as if Zhu Hang had done something extremely amazing. The girls' words were like sharp knives stabbing Zhu Pengfei's heart. Double standards. What a fucking double standard. If I am late, I will be scolded, but if Zhu Hang is late, he will be praised. I have to drive to pick him up. A bunch of damn dogs. At this moment, Zhu Pengfei finally understood what the phrase, appearance is justice, meant. Squad leader, isn't that idiot Zhao Qiang going to pay the bill? Why hasn't he arrived yet? Everyone looked at Jing Sini. Zhao Qiang is the big money sponsor today. If he doesn't he come to Platinum Palace to spend money, these poor students won't be able to afford it. Jing Sini looked down at the physical book of Harry Potter in her hand, with no intention of looking up, and said, he went to pick up Chuxia. Chuxia just said that he was on the way and should be here soon. Fuck. Our Hang, this idiot stole your house. Zhu Pengfei slammed the table in indignation. Zhu Hang was very calm. If it were in his previous life, he, who loved Li Chuxia so much, would definitely be furious. After Li Chuxia arrived, he ran up to her and asked her why she came with Zhao Qiang. But times have changed. His heart changed, too. He is no longer the Zhu Hang who must be with Li Chuxia. Li Chuxia's importance in his heart now is similar to that of the classmates present here, and it is limited to the friendship between classmates. There is no love between men and women at all. Li Chuxia is free to be with whomever she wants. It has nothing to do with Zhu Hang. Zhu Hang would not have the slightest emotional fluctuation because of this woman. Shen Shishir leaned close to Jing Sini and seemed to be reading a book with her, but she was actually stealing glances at Zhu Hang. Seeing that Zhu Hang was very calm when talking about Li Chuxia, she couldn't help but feel secretly happy. It seems that Zhu Hang is completely disappointed with Li Chuxia. The two of them shouldn't be together anymore. Chuxia, you are finally here. Speak of Cao Cao and he will appear. A girl shouted, and everyone looked towards the door. Li Chuxia and Zhao Qiang walked into the private room side by side. Sorry, there was a traffic jam on the road, so I'm late. As soon as Zhao Qiang arrived, he acted like the host. While speaking, she gave Zhu Hang a provocative and complacent look, as if announcing that Li Chuxia was her woman. Zhu Hang simply chose to ignore it. The purpose of his coming here today was to eat at a rich man's house, so he had no interest in competing with this little brat who hadn't even grown all his hair yet. It's okay. There are a lot of cars on holidays, so traffic jams are normal. In fact, we just arrived not long ago. Everyone complimented Zhao Qiang a few times. The latter was the sponsor of today's event, and they couldn't afford to offend this financial sponsor. TSK tilde tilde. Stupid. Zhu Pengfei spat in his heart with disdain. It's no big deal for others to be late, but he was the one who got blamed and scolded. He must be so upset. Zhou Hang is his brother, so of course he won't blame Zhou Hang. Zhao Qiang had nothing to do with him, so he took out his anger on Zhao Qiang. Sorry to have kept you waiting for so long. Li Chuxia looked apologetic, and while she was speaking, her eyes would drift to Zhou Hang. Today, Li Chuxia was obviously dressed up carefully. The face that used to be bare-faced was now painted with exquisite makeup. The cherry lips with lipstick on them are like a watery car, making people want to take a bite. She wore a denim skirt on the lower body and a t-shirt on the upper body, and her hair was curled and let down like waves. The lace edges of the white socks look like a group of fluttering butterflies. The black round toe leather shoes are full of princess feel. Li Chuxia, after dressing up, is 10,000 times more beautiful than usual. With such a simple combination, she looks like she is wearing high-end custom-made clothes. The boys present were staring with their eyes wide open, and the girls were speechless at Li Chuxia's stunning beauty. Everyone, stop standing and take a seat. Zhao Qiang broke the silence. Everyone found an empty seat and sat down, and tacitly gave the main seat to Zhao Qiang. Hang, Fatty, come sit next to me. A boy patted the empty seat next to him. There are now 4 empty seats connected together, and the rest have been occupied. Zhu Hang walked straight over and sat next to the boy with the flat head. Li Chuxia hesitated for a moment, then mustered up her courage, ran after him in small steps, and sat down next to Zhu Hang. Zhao Qiang frowned, feeling a little unhappy. He walked towards Li Chuxia. At this time, Zhu Pengfei took the lead and pulled out a chair, grabbing the seat. Fatty, get up, let's change positions. No, that's the main seat. I don't have the money to pay for it. You should sit there. You don't have to pay, just change seats. That won't work either. This position is facing the wind. I'm afraid of the heat, so I like to sit facing the wind. It's cool. No matter how Zhao Qiang tried to persuade him, Zhu Pengfei refused to give up his seat and firmly occupied the seat next to Li Chuxia. With no other options, Zhao Qiang could only sit in the main seat. Zhu Pengfei crossed his legs and grinned smugly. Stupid dick. Trying to steal my brother's woman. No way. Even if Hang doesn't like Li Chuxia, it's not your turn. Chapter 19, Best Friend Poaching. Seeing Zhu Pengfei standing between him and Li Chuxia, Zhao Qiang thought that it was Zhu Hang who ordered him to do so, and his face suddenly became gloomy. He came to attend the Class 3 reunion just to improve his relationship with Li Chuxia. Try to win Li Chuxia during the summer vacation between senior year and freshman year. But Zhu Pengfei, this fat guy who didn't know how to live or die, actually stood between the two of them and disrupted all his plans. Zhu Pengfei and Zhao Qiang stared at each other, like a needle against a wheat thorn. Zhu Pengfei raised his eyebrows, as if to say, I'm here with Fatty, so don't even think about getting close to Li Chuxia. Forget it. Zhao Qiang wanted to push Zhu Pengfei into the toilet. Because there were other students at the scene, if they attacked Zhu Pengfei, other students would definitely come out to stop the fight. They are all from Class 3 and will definitely speak well of Zhu Pengfei. Moreover, he didn't want Li Chuxia to see him losing his composure and going berserk. So Zhao Qiang could only suppress his anger and pretend to be a gentleman and not argue with Zhu Pengfei. Now that everyone is here, let's serve the food. Zhao Qiang snapped his fingers, and the waitress guarding the door immediately came over, folded her hands in front of her belly, and bowed slightly. Mr. Zhao, what do you need? Serve the food. Okay, Mr. Zhao. The waitress bowed again, took a few steps back, then turned and walked out of the private room. After a while, plates of exquisite and delicious dishes were served on the table. Mr. Zhao, let me introduce you. This is our 3-course Australian lobster recipe. We use 5 gin large Australian lobsters. This is our Platinum Palace's signature dish, a gathering of the best. Everyone, enjoy your meal. Feel free to call me if you need anything. The waitress introduced each dish one by one, and after completing her job, she left the private room. The eyes of the students present were shining, some were swallowing their saliva, and some immediately took out their mobile phones to take pictures as a souvenir. They are all students, and they usually eat at roadside stalls. I've never seen so many high-end, classy dishes. There are some ingredients that they have never even heard of. Everyone, let's start eating. You're welcome. Zhao Qiang smiled slightly. The students' appetites had already been whetted, and they all picked up their chopsticks and picked up their favorite dishes. Zhou Hang was eating by himself, his eyes straight ahead, not even looking at Li Chuxia from beginning to end. Li Chuxia clasped her hands together and occasionally glanced at Zhou Hang from the side, appearing a little reserved. Li Chuxia plucked up her courage, picked up a piece of abalone meat and put it in Zhou Hang's bowl. Zhou Hang, try this. My dad brought me here to eat it before and it tasted delicious. Li Chuxia bit her chopsticks, her eyes full of anticipation. Li Chuxia's family is also in business. Although not as rich as Zhao Qiang's family, they can be considered a middle-class family. So Zhou Hang was not surprised at all that he had been to the Platinum Palace. No need, I have hands. I can pick up food by myself. Zhou Hang didn't look at the food in the bowl. He held up the chopsticks and tapped the table lightly a few times to keep the two chopsticks level. Then he started to eat with relish. The corners of Li Chuxia's mouth drooped, and the disappointment was visibly written on her face. Chuxia, this lobster man is pretty good, you should try it. At this time, Zhao Qiang picked up a piece of crystal lobster meat and prepared to put it in Li Chuxia's bowl. Oh, no, I can do it myself. Li Chuxia refused. Oh, thank you, thank you. Zhu Pengfei picked up his chopsticks and intercepted it directly. He slapped Zhao Qiang's chopsticks hard, and the lobster meat fell into his bowl. Fatty, what do you mean? I gave this to Chuxia, not to you. Zhao Qiang frowned. This fat guy is standing in the middle and is in the way. Are you deliberately ruining your own good deeds? Didn't you hear Chuxia say no? If you guys don't want to eat it, give it to me. Don't waste such good lobster meat. Zhu Pengfei picked up the crystal clear lobster meat from the bowl and swallowed it in one gulp. A female classmate asked, Fatty, is the lobster meat very fresh and sweet? I just swallowed it whole without tasting it. Zhu Pengfei smacked his lips and said meaningfully, I don't know whether lobster meat is sweet or not, but a forced melon is definitely not sweet. Zhao Qiang, don't you think so? HMPH tilde tilde. Zhao Qiang snorted coldly and ignored Zhu Pengfei. He is not an idiot, of course he knows what Zhu Pengfei means. Halfway through their meal, Zhu Hang suddenly stood up from his seat. Zhu Pengfei asked, Hang, what are you going to do? Go to the bathroom. After wiping his hands with a wet towel, Zhu Hang left the table to go to the bathroom. The private room had its own bathroom, but a female classmate was using it, so Zhu Hang had to go to the toilet outside. Xinxixia, who had been silent all this time, rolled her eyes and found the same reason as Zhu Hang to leave the private room. Zhu Hang came out of the bathroom and ran into Xinxixia in the wash area. Zhu Hang, I thought you wouldn't come today. If there's a sucker offering to eat and drink for free, why wouldn't I come? I thought you didn't want to see Hatsuhar. Xinxixia sighed and said helplessly, in fact, I have persuaded Chuxia many times to let her accept the confession and be with you. Maybe she thinks she has you in her arms, so she's always fearless. Or maybe she enjoys the feeling of being pursued by you, so she rejects you every time. I feel bad for you. Even I, your best friend, can't stand it sometimes. I really don't know what Chuxia was thinking. She didn't want such an outstanding boy like you. Tell me, you've been so good to her, why would she be dissatisfied? Xinxixia talked a lot. On the surface, he was speaking up for Zhu Hangming, but there was a hint of sourness in his words. Expressions and eyes don't lie. Zhu Hang saw two words from Xinxixia's micro-expressions, jealousy. He. It seems that Li Chuxia, my best friend, is not as close as I imagined. Are you done? I'll be leaving if you're done. Of course, this kind of low-level tea talk could not seduce Zhu Hang. Wait a moment, Zhu Hang. Xinxixia grabbed Zhu Hang's arm and said shyly, actually, I've always liked you. I've liked you since freshman year of high school. Since it's impossible for you and Chuxia, can you give me a chance? Zhu Hang pushed Xinxixia away, took out a few tissues, and wiped the places that Xinxixia had touched with a look of disgust. Do you want to hear my answer? Xinxixia nodded heavily. Xinxixia thinks that she is not much worse than Li Chuxia. Now Zhu Hang dislikes Li Chuxia and even hates her a little. Then there is a great chance that she and Zhu Hang will be together. Bang tilde tilde. But what Xinxixia got in response was a loud slap. Chapter 20, Lesson of the Green Tea Girl. Xinxixia's head was tilted to one side, her long hair was disheveled, and a touch of bright red was like fuel dripping into water, slowly spreading across her fair cheek. Soon a red slap mark appeared. "Why did you hit me?" Shinshusha looked at Zhou Hang in disbelief. In her impression, Zhou Hang has always been a very elegant and easygoing person. Apart from the unpleasantness with Zhao Chong due to Li Chuxia, Zhou Hang got along well with every classmate. I've never seen him hit anyone, nor have I seen him argue with anyone. Even though he was rejected 99 times by Li Chuxia, lost all face and became a laughingstock in the whole school, he never got angry. Shinshusha couldn't understand why Zhou Hang hit her. Beating hurts, scolding is love. Does Zhou Hang feel sorry for me? Shinshusha quickly denied her absurd conjecture. If Zhou Hang really expressed his inner love by beating people, that would be too perverted. Besides, although Zhou Hang likes Li Chuxia so much, I have never seen him hit Li Chuxia. Not to mention hitting Li Chuxia, he didn't even have the heart to pull a single hair off her. Then why hit me? Shinshusha's brain cells were almost burned out, but she still couldn't figure out the reason. The most reasonable assumption is that Zhou Hang doesn't like me and wants to reject me. But even if he doesn't like me and doesn't accept my confession, he wouldn't hit me, right? Why did I hit you? Don't you have any idea of what's going on? Zhou Hang's eyes were filled with disgust. He grabbed Shinshusha's hair and pulled her in front of him. He showed no sympathy at all towards Shinshusha just because she was a girl. Let me go. Let me go quickly. Shinshusha grimaced in pain, feeling as if her scalp was about to be torn off by Zhou Hang. She grabbed Zhou Hang's hand and tried to pry open his fingers. There is a huge gap in strength between men and women. Girls have the ability to resist boys, but this is based on the premise that the man does not want to hurt the woman. But once the real thing starts, except for professional boxers and other athletes, girls are simply unable to resist the power of men. What's more, Shinshusha is just a weak little girl. As long as Zhou Hang didn't want to, no matter how she struggled, she couldn't make Zhou Hang let go. You really think I'm an idiot, don't you? Don't think I don't know what you're doing behind my back. Zhou Hang's eyes flashed with ferocity, and he glared at Shinshusha viciously, as if he had seen the murderer of his father, and he wished he could eat her. It was in stark contrast to his former elegance. I don't know what you're talking about. Zhou Hang, let go, you're hurting me. Shinshusha was frightened by Zhou Hang's eyes. She had never seen such a terrifying side of Zhou Hang before. You don't know. You're still pretending to be innocent in front of me. Zhou Hang grabbed Shinshusha's head and shook it back and forth vigorously. But Shinshusha was so hurt that tears as big as soybeans rolled down her eyes uncontrollably. Zhou Hang, I really don't know what you are talking about. There must be a misunderstanding here. Can you let me go first and I will explain it to you slowly? Shinshusha pleaded in a tearful voice. Explain your mother. Zhou Hang said in a sweet voice, everyone in the school is my spy. Do you really think I don't know what you are doing behind my back? I confessed my love to Li Chuxia, and you just went to whisper in her ear and brainwash her into rejecting me. I confessed my love to her 99 times, and you let her reject me 99 times. When I gave up on her, you came out and confessed your love for her. You wanted to reap the benefits, right? Earlier on the playground, Zhou Hang rejected Li Chuxia's confession, and then he went home. He didn't know what happened afterwards, but there were other students at the scene, many of whom had a very good relationship with him. Shinshusha publicly admitted that it was she who made Li Chuxia keep rejecting Zhou Hang as a test, and the news had already reached Zhou Hang's ears. Zhou Hang was still wondering why Li Chuxia had always rejected him in high school and always wanted to play with him. After all this time, it turns out that it was the green tea girl Shinshusha who was causing trouble. I didn't, let me explain. He. Zhou Hang sneered, took out his cell phone and opened a recording. I said he was fickle. Luckily I asked you to reject him 99 times as a test, otherwise you would have been fooled by his pretend affectionate persona. If you can't even finish such a small test, you must not be sincere to me. We don't want a scumbag like him. Shinshusha's voice was heard in the recording. With the physical evidence right in front of her, Shinshusha had no way to defend herself. Zhou Hang, I'm sorry. I didn't want to do this. I really like you too much, so I tempted Chuxia to reject you. I just like you and want to be with you, what's wrong with that? Shinshusha was sincere and acted as if all the mistakes she had made were Zhou Hang's fault. Zhou Hang pushed Shinshusha away, and the latter staggered and fell to the ground. Do you think that if Li Chuxia rejects me, I will fall in love with you. Where do you get your confidence from? Go look in the mirror. Li Chuxia was stupid at best for being kept in the dark, but Shen Shishir used her status as a best friend to poach him, which shows that she has pure evil intentions. Zhou Hang doesn't like this kind of woman. Shen Shishir looked ashen. She was indeed a little blindly confident. Even if Zhou Hang and Li Chuxia didn't get together, Zhou Hang still has Jiu Jiao by his side, whose appearance is just as good as Li Chuxia. Maybe there are other beautiful girls. It's not even her turn to be raped, let alone fall in love. But at that time, Shen Shishir didn't know that Zhou Hang and Jiu Jiao knew each other. He thought that by ruining Zhou Hang and Li Chuxia's relationship, he could reap the benefits. It seems so stupid now. Return to the private room. Zhou Hang sat back in his seat as if nothing had happened. Li Chuxia looked back and didn't see Shen Shishir coming back, so she asked, Zhou Hang, have you seen Shishir? No. Zhou Hang said calmly. At this time, Li Chuxia received a QQ message on her mobile phone. She lowered her head and took a look. Zhou Hang asked, was it sent by Shen Shishir? Well, Shishir said she felt a little uncomfortable and went home first. Li Chuxia said with a worried look on her face, I don't know if her condition is serious. Oh tilde. What a silly girl. Even after being sold, he's still helping others count money. Looking at Li Chuxia's clear eyes, Zhou Hang was also a little confused. I'll give you a piece of advice, beware of fire, theft and best friends. Zhou Hang reminded. What do you mean? Li Chuxia looked surprised. Some people may appear to be close to you on the surface, but secretly they wish you a miserable life. Li Chuxia seemed to be thinking about something. I always felt that Zhou Hang was hinting at something, but I couldn't figure it out for a moment. He. Zhou Hang shook his head. If you tell Li Chuxia directly that Shen Shishir is trying to poach her, she will definitely not believe it. Anyway, he has already reminded Li Chuxia, and it depends on him whether he can figure it out. On the contrary, there was one thing that Zhou Hang couldn't figure out. Li Chuxia is obviously a very simple and kind-hearted girl. Why did she become so materialistic once she entered university? And it was a sudden change, without any warning. Chapter 21, The Big Show-Off Scene. Half of Shen Shishir's face was swollen after being hit by Zhou Hang, and she was afraid of being exposed by Zhou Hang in public because she had done something wrong. How could she have the nerve to stay and attend the party? After sending a text message to Li Chuxia, he ran back home in shame. The students were still talking and laughing, some were discussing their ideals, some were gossiping, and the atmosphere did not become dull at all due to the absence of one person. The dishes on the table were quickly cleared out. Zhao Qiang snapped his fingers and the waiter came running over in small steps. Mr. Zhao, what can I do for you? Bring me some good red wine. Okay, please wait a moment, I'll be right there. A few minutes later, the waiter came back with a few bottles of red wine. He opened them and placed them on the table, then introduced the origin and year of the wine. Everyone here is a student. They are mostly exposed to beer and have very little knowledge about wine. They had no idea what the waiter was saying, they just knew their wine was amazing and not cheap. Mr. Zhao, we have sobered up in advance, you can taste it anytime. It usually takes several hours to decant. However, the Platinum Palace Hotel has a huge flow of customers, and the wealthy people who come to patronize it like to order a few bottles of wine for banquets. Who among the rich is willing to waste time waiting? Therefore, hotels usually decant a batch of wine in advance. If they mention drinking at the beginning of the dinner, they will start a new one and slowly sober up. If the customer suddenly wants to drink when the dinner is almost over, they will take out the wine that has been decanted in advance and give it to the customer. Customers are not afraid that the good wine may be replaced. The name of Platinum Palace alone is worth tens of millions, so its reputation is guaranteed. And those who can come here are either rich or noble. Among them are some powerful figures who can close down the Platinum Palace with just a stomp of their feet. The boss dare not offend these people. For such a small profit, he ruined the hotel that he had worked so hard to run. Even if he was crazy, he would not do such a stupid thing. A boy wearing glasses and looking like a nerd asked, Zhao Qiang, what does it mean to sober up? Can you fall asleep after drinking? Zhao Qiang was delighted. He was still thinking about how to show off when this guy took the initiative to bring the opportunity to him. Zhao Qiang couldn't wait to show off his knowledge. Decanting is a step in drinking red wine, which means pouring the wine steadily and slowly into the decanter, leaving the sediment at the bottom of the bottle. I see. I didn't expect that drinking red wine has so many requirements. Zhao Qiang, you are still very knowledgeable. Zhao Qiang was flattered by everyone and his chin was almost raised to the sky. This time he finally got the chance to show off in front of Li Chuxia. No, thank you for the compliment. Zhao Qiang was very proud in his heart, but he still appeared humble on the surface. Everyone was given a glass of wine, and Zhao Qiang took the initiative to teach everyone the correct way to drink red wine. I'll show you guys. When drinking red wine, hold the lower and middle end of the stem with your thumb, index finger and middle finger, and place the other two fingers naturally on top of the base of the glass. This is the most standard way to drink red wine. Zhu Pengfei rolled his eyes in annoyance and spat in a low voice, "What are you showing off for?" He didn't hate the rich, but he just couldn't stand people like Zhao Qiang who were pretentious. In Zhou Hang's words, he really wanted to go up and give him 2 big slaps. Everyone followed suit, raising their glasses like Zhao Qiang and taking slow sips. Some people were drinking for the first time and stuck out their tongues out of discomfort. There are also people who pretend to know how to praise good wine but cannot explain why. A bunch of country bumpkins. Zhao Qiang smiled without saying anything, and sneered in his heart. Although they all graduated from the same school, their family classes were different, so they were destined to be different people. If it weren't for Li Chuxia, he wouldn't bother with this group of people. Zhu Hang didn't care about everyone's gazes at all. He held the glass with his hand, tilted his head back and drank the red wine in the glass in one breath. Zhu Hang, it's wrong for you to drink red wine like this. It's no different from Zhu Barji eating ginseng fruit. You can't taste the flavor of red wine. Zhao Qiang spoke in a preaching tone. He finally found an opportunity to put Zhu Hang down and elevate himself in front of Li Chuxia, so of course he didn't want to miss it. While speaking, Zhao Qiang also glanced at Li Chuxia. Li Chuxia is a smart person. I believe she can see the gap between herself and Zhu Hang in level from these details. Only I, who is from the upper class, can give her happiness, and Zhu Hang, who comes from the bottom of society, is not worthy of her at all. I just like drinking like this, is it illegal? Zhu Hang asked sincerely. Oh, it's not against the law. Zhao Qiang was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Zhu Hang to ask this. As long as it's not against the law, I can drink as much as I want. As he spoke, Zhu Hang opened a new set of tableware, poured the red wine into the bowl, then picked up the bowl and drank it all in one gulp. Zhu Pengfei followed suit. Oh, cool. Hang, you still enjoy drinking like this? Men should drink with big gulps. It's boring to act like a foreigner when drinking. It tastes better with some Sprite. After Zhu Hang said this, the students all tried it. Sure enough, the red wine mixed with Sprite is not so spicy at first and is easier to drink. It's really delicious. The fruity aroma of red wine plus the sweetness of Sprite is really good. Zhao Qiang's face turned pale. These 2 guys are here to cause trouble on purpose. The waiter next to them was also confused and amused. It took the foreigners thousands of years to figure out a way to remove the sugar from red wine. Zhu Hang, on the other hand, added the sugar back. 1 second destroyed thousands of years of hard work of the foreigners, which is comparable to Italian pizza with pineapple. Foreigners will definitely go crazy if they see this way of drinking. After eating and drinking, the party is coming to an end. We're almost done eating, let's go to KTV and sing together later. Zhao Qiang didn't rush to confess his feelings. He had already arranged everything in the KTV, including flowers, balloons, diamonds, champagne. It has all the elements that women like. When they get to the KTV, Li Chuxia will be deeply moved when she sees this romantic scene. He just didn't believe that he couldn't defeat Li Chuxia. Waiter, pay the bill. Zhao Qiang waved his hand and the waiter came over with the bill. Mr. Zhao, your total consumption today is 6,894 yuan. Would you like to pay in cash or by card? Swipe the card. There is no mobile payment now, so ordinary people pay in cash when shopping. Swiping cards is still quite fashionable now. As soon as the card was handed over, others took it with both hands respectfully. Just thinking about it makes me feel proud. Zhao Qiang touched his left pocket, then his right pocket, and his expression froze instantly. What happened? Why are both pockets empty? Zhao Qiang stood up again and felt his trouser pocket, but still couldn't find the bank card. He was stunned for several seconds before he suddenly remembered. Broken. I left my bank card at home. Chapter 22. Money is for show. Zhao Qiang looked embarrassed. He prepared all the procedures for today. The first step is to demonstrate economic strength. The second step is to decorate the KTV with flowers, balloons and other romantic elements that girls like and confess your love in public. After this combination of punches, Zhao Qiang was confident that he would be able to conquer Li Chuxia and make her his girlfriend. But I never expected that after everything was ready, I forgot to take my wallet. But I didn't expect that the mission would fail. The plan fell through before the first step was completed. Originally, paying the bill after the meal would allow him to show off in front of his classmates and also leave a good impression on Li Chuxia that he is generous and magnanimous. As a result, I didn't bring my wallet, so I couldn't be generous even if I wanted to. Zhu Pengfei picked his teeth and joked, Zhao Qiang, why don't you pay? Did you forget to bring money? Ahem. Under the gaze of everyone, Zhao Qiang could only cough a few times awkwardly and talk to the waiter in a low voice. I forgot to bring my wallet. Can I send the money over later? I'm sorry, Mr. Zhao, our hotel has never had such a precedent. I'm just a waiter and I can't make the decision. The waiter said, or you can make a phone call and have someone bring your wallet over. Zhao Qiang looked embarrassed. As luck would have it, my cell phone and wallet were left at home. He never uses cell phone numbers, and all his contacts are saved in his phone. Even if you give him a call, you won't be able to find anyone to help you. No way, Zhao Qiang, you really didn't bring any money. Look again, maybe you put it in your pocket and didn't find it. The student's mood suddenly became tense. It would be fine if it was a small restaurant, where everyone could pool their money and pay the bill, but this is the Platinum Palace Hotel. One meal cost several $1,000s. Even if you empty their pockets, they still can't come up with that much money. If Zhao Qiang didn't bring any money, they wouldn't be able to afford the consumption here. Zhao Qiang, you are such a talent. If you treat me to a meal but don't bring money, what's the point of treating me? Zhu Pengfei complained mercilessly. He and Zhou Hang are good brothers, so of course he stands on Zhou Hang's side. Zhao Qiang used to hire some hooligans to target Zhou Hang, and now that there is such a good opportunity to slap him in the face, Zhu Pengfei will definitely not miss it. We must vent our anger on Zhou Hang's behalf. Zhao Qiang's face was gloomy and every word Zhu Pengfei said was like a loud slap in the face. I've lost all my face. After hesitating for a moment, Zhao Qiang came up with a compromise. Can I go home and get some money? I have no objection to this, but your classmates cannot leave our hotel until you come back. The waiter did not refuse Zhao Qiang's request. After all, those who can come here to consume are all rich people, and she, a small waitress, can't afford to offend them. Zhao Qiang was already embarrassed for not bringing any money, and if she continued to object, he would definitely hold a grudge against her. Zhao Qiang can leave, but the others must stay. After all, a meal costs several thousand yuan. If people run away without paying, the employees will have to bear the loss themselves. It's like working for several months in vain. So things are very simple, we will release the person only after we get the money. After getting the waiter's consent, Zhao Qiang prepared to go back to get the money, but the other students refused. Wait a minute, what are we going to do if you leave? That's right, you said you were treating us to a meal, why are you leaving us here as hostages? If you never come back, how will we get the money to pay for it? Everyone panicked instantly. They didn't have a close relationship with Zhao Qiang, so they didn't trust him very much. They were afraid that Zhao Qiang would run away and not come back to pay, and then notify his family, and the money would have to be paid out of their own pockets. The average bill per student is only about $200 or $300. It's equivalent to their living expenses for 1 month. There will be a bit of broth. Besides, everyone came here with the mentality of eating for free, so how could they be happy if they were suddenly asked to pay money? And the meal cost nearly 7,000 yuan. If my parents find out, they will beat them to death. Zhao Qiang, we agreed that you would treat us, but you ran away without paying. Isn't that inappropriate? Zhu Pengfei enjoyed the fun and fanned the flames. Compared with the anxious other students, Zhu Pengfei was calm and composed with his legs crossed. He did business with Zhou Hang and made a lot of money. A few $1,000s is just a drop in the bucket for him. As long as he is willing, he can pay the bill easily. So he was not panicked at all. The fat guy is right. You can't let us pay for the meal, right? If anyone wants to stay, you should stay. Everyone agreed with Zhu Pengfei's statement. Even brothers settle accounts clearly. What's more, they and Zhao Qiang are just classmates, and Zhao Qiang is in the next class. If Zhu Hang said this, no one would have any objection. Zhao Qiang's face looked as ugly as a sick ghost, and he cursed Zhu Pengfei's ancestors in his heart. Originally, if I went back and got the money, the problem would be solved. Zhu Pengfei just jumped out to cause trouble halfway. If he left now, everyone would definitely think that he wanted to escape the bill, leaving Li Chuxia with a negative impression of being irresponsible. But where would he get so much money to pay the bill if he didn't leave? Zhao Qiang is now in a dilemma. It is not right to leave, nor is it right to stay. Seeing that the time was almost right, Zhu Pengfei winked at Zhou Hang, suggesting that he could step forward to pay the bill and steal the limelight from Zhao Qiang. Zhu Hang understood what Zhu Pengfei meant. He took out a stack of money from his pocket, at least 10,000 yuan. It instantly attracted everyone's attention. The same question appeared in everyone's mind. When did Zhu Hang become so rich? Just when everyone thought Zhu Hang was going to pay the bill, he stuffed the money into his pocket again. Zhu Hang, aren't you going to pay the bill? A female classmate wondered. Who said I was going to pay for it? I just took it out to show Zhao Qiang. Puff tilde tilde. Zhu Pengfei almost burst out laughing. The loss is still Emirates'. Seeing Zhao Qiang's whole body trembling, he must be extremely disgusted. Eat and go home to sleep. I'm leaving first. Zhu Hang put his hands in his pockets and walked towards the door. His purpose today was very simple, he just came here to get something for free, so he had no interest in wasting money to slap Zhao Qiang in the face. With this spare money, I might as well buy Jiu Jiao some beautiful small payments. The two waiters subconsciously blocked the door, and Zhu Hang glanced at them indifferently. Why, you won't let me go? Every wrong has its perpetrator, and every debt has its creditor. Go to whoever is inviting you to dinner. You'd better think it through. It is against the law to illegally detain others. I give you 3 seconds to get out of my sight. The two waiters had conflicted expressions and finally moved aside reluctantly. I have to say, what Zhu Hang said does make sense. It was Zhao Qiang who treated the guests and his name was also on the reservation registration, so Zhao Qiang should be the one to pay the bill. It's like a newlywed couple getting married and running away because they don't have money to pay the bill. They can't possibly ask the guests to pay for it, right? Zhu Hang swaggered out of the private room, followed closely by Zhu Pengfei. My stomach aches. I need to go to the bathroom. It's broken. My gas is not turned off. Everyone, I'm leaving now. The other students looked at each other, found an excuse in tacit understanding, picked up their belongings and quickly fled the scene. Seeing that everyone was almost gone, the nerdy man with glasses picked up his phone and said to himself, What? My grandma gave birth to a daughter? In Ren'ai Hospital. Okay, I'll come to the hospital right away. Zhao Qiang's face was as black as charcoal. Dare you be more ridiculous? You're taking me for a fool. Your grandmother is in her 60s or 70s, can she still give birth to a child? Why don't you say that your ancestor is resurrecting from the dead? Chapter 23 Yuzu cooks dinner together. The beverage stalls have now expanded to 18, and there are more than a dozen flavors of ice cream alone. In addition to the common fruit flavors, there are also avant-garde novel flavors such as mint, matcha, passion fruit, and durian. It attracted a wave of new customers who like to try new things. Especially the durian-flavored ice cream, which has received unanimous praise from durian lovers. It instantly became the best-selling product. Of course, Zhu Hang always remembers his original intention of starting a business, which is to make money. He wouldn't be stupid enough to use real durian. What is the price of real durian? Why is his ice cream only 1 yuan per scoop? Even your own mother wouldn't recognize the real durian pulp. So he used durian-flavored sauce. I will never add any real fruit pulp into the ice cream and stick to my bottom line as a conscientious businessman. In addition to ice cream, various beverages are also widely acclaimed. No matter what drink it is, Zhu Hang only sells it for 2 yuan, and many people line up before the stall opens. Today, there are more than 20 types of products. Zhu Hang's stall has an average daily turnover of about 5,000 yuan. After deducting the expenses of employee wages, wholesale of raw materials, bribery, initial investment, and Zhou Peng phased dividends. The net profit of one of his stalls is about 3,500 yuan a day. It is equivalent to nearly 2 months' salary for an ordinary working class. The net profit of the 18 stalls in one day is as high as 63,000 yuan. Zhou Hang tapped his fingers on the calculator. He counted and found that his current net worth was almost over 2 million. It's still a long way to go to achieve this small goal, but Zhou Hang is already very satisfied. 2 million is a huge sum of money in any era. Not to mention now, even if we look ahead 10 or 20 years, there will not be many people who have 2 million in liquid cash. For an ordinary family with no debt and a deposit of tens or hundreds of thousands of yuan in a bank account, they are considered wealthy. However, Zhou Hang was not overwhelmed by joy. He knew clearly that the reason he was able to achieve success in a short period of time and make so much money was because of this. Most of it is due to good luck. It happened to be summer vacation. Nowadays, students don't study but go out to have fun every day, so the customer flow is definitely not low. But once school starts and students return to campus, business will definitely suffer a huge impact. According to conservative estimates, sales have at least been cut in half. So this business can be done, but one must be prepared for a potential loss in profits. If you want to do it for a long time, you still have to rely on the assistance of food delivery software and increase the number of customers through food delivery. However, smartphones are not yet popular, so external software can only be put aside for the time being. Speaking of smartphones, Zhou Hang remembered an important event. He glanced at the date and saw that the iPhone 4 would be released in 2 days. Zhou Hang did not invest the money he earned into adding more stalls, but was waiting for the release of iPhone 4. An iPhone for that costs 5,000 yuan can be sold for 10,000 yuan. His 2 million will soon become 4 million. Even more. Zhou Hang is sure to make the second pot of gold. Even if the Jade Emperor comes, don't try to stop him. Sizzle tilde tilde tilde. The phone vibrated a few times. It was a message from Zhu Jiao. Zhou Hang opened the chat box. Zhu Jiao, are you free tonight? Zhou Hang, are you free? Did you miss me? Now the stalls are on track, and each stall has a dedicated employee to run it. Zhou Hang pays his employees a salary that is 50% higher than the market rate. The employees are so dedicated and work so hard that they feel like they have been injected with chicken blood every day. He simply runs the cold drink stand as his own business. I was afraid of being fired for poor performance and losing this lucrative job. Therefore, Zhou Hang didn't need to worry about the stall at all, and there were enough product varieties for the time being, which saved Zhou Hang's time in updating and researching new products. He has plenty of time now. Zhu Jiao, only the devil misses you. Curse. Mobile phone applications are still in their infancy, and Mobile QQ only has some simple chatting functions. There aren't even any animated emoticons yet. Zhu Jiao, I've been bored at home lately, so I researched a few dishes. My parents are not here tonight, so come to my house and cook for you. Zhou Hang, oh, Miss Zhu is actually cooking. Laughing. Zhu Jiao, why are you talking so much nonsense? Are you coming or not? Rolling eyes. Zhou Hang, that's not good. Your parents are not at home, and we are alone in the same room. I'm afraid you will commit a crime against me. Zhu Jiao, you shameless bastard. Who wants to commit a crime against you? If you don't come, just wait and see. Zhou Hang, okay, I'll do it. Zhu Jiao, you are smart, see you at 7 p.m. Zhu Jiao on the other end of the phone held the phone and only showed a satisfied smile after confirming that Zhou Hang would come in the evening. She turned to her sister and said, I have already told Benju that he will come over in the evening. Thank you, sis. The girl smiled knowingly, her voice as gentle as water. You're welcome. I've been monopolizing him, so I have to let you guys be alone for a while. Zhu Jiao came over and took her sister's arm. Half jokingly, he said, that stupid pig is really good at sweet talk. Don't be fooled by his sweet words or you will lose your virginity in a fit of anger. The girl blushed at Zhu Jiao's teasing and said shyly, Sister, Daiju is not that kind of person. Dumb pig is the nickname the girl gave to Zhou Hang. TSK, is that so? Zhu Jiao began to dig up the past. I don't know who it was, but when she saw Benju's heartbreak after his confession was rejected, she hugged him and was sad with him for the whole night, and even gave him her first kiss. I won't talk to you anymore. The girl was so ashamed that she got up and ran back to her room. Are you embarrassed about this? Zhou Jiao chased after him and knocked on the door. Come out quickly, I won't tease you anymore. What are you going to cook for that stupid pig tonight? A girl's sweet voice came from the room. It's a secret, I won't tell you. Ian is the Jianghai dialect, which means I. Whenever her emotions fluctuate greatly, the girl will unconsciously blurt out a sentence or two in dialect. In the room, the girl looked at Zhou Hang's photo. Thinking back to that night, the smile on her face grew even brighter. Sister, I guess you must be holding the picture of the stupid pig and imagining something inappropriate for children, right? Well, no. The girl's little thoughts were discovered, and she was at a loss what to do, just like a child who was caught doing something wrong. He hurriedly turned over Zhou Hang's photo and covered his legs with it. You're still saying no, but your dialect is coming out. Well, I'm going to sleep. The girl pulled the blanket over her head, took a look at Zhou Hang in the photo, and then held the photo in her arms. He closed his eyes with a smile. Not getting a response, Zhou Jiao also quieted down. The smile on her face faded, replaced by a look of worry. Looking at the message Zhou Hang sent her, she was confused. Stupid pig. If you knew there were two Zhou Jiaos, would you choose me or her? Chapter 24 Breaking Bad, eating can also cause hallucinations. In order to give Zhou Hang and his sister some time alone, Zhou Jiao asked her best friend to go out for a few drinks to give them some space. The girl was busy in the kitchen for a long time, sweating profusely, and finally finished dinner. Taking out a tissue to wipe the sweat from her forehead, the girl glanced at the clock hanging on the wall. There are still a few minutes until 7 o'clock. She didn't know if it was a psychological effect, but the girl felt that time was passing very slowly. In the past, a few minutes would pass in the blink of an eye, but now a minute feels like several hours. It's so painful. It feels like every second seems like an eternity. Ding dong tilde. After anxious waiting, the doorbell finally rang. Zhou Hang arrived on time. The girl, who was eagerly waiting, jumped up from the sofa and ran to open the door, and Zhou Hang's figure appeared in front of her. Zhou Hang was wearing a loose pure white t-shirt, army green work pants, and a pair of flip-flops. She didn't dress up, she was dressed very casually. Looks very comfortable. You're here. Seeing Zhou Hang coming, the girl felt a little excited, and her calm emotions like still water began to fluctuate. Oh, you're not going to just leave me standing at the door, are you? No, come in. The girl shyly stepped aside to make way for Zhou Hang. Zhou Hang didn't act pretentiously. He walked in openly as if he was returning to his own home. You should wear this. The girl took out a pair of slippers from the cupboard, half squatted down, and placed the slippers neatly in front of Zhou Hang's toes. Zhou Hang was a little dazed. Scenes from certain artworks from the island country suddenly emerged in my mind. You're suddenly so gentle, I'm a little uncomfortable with it. Zhou Hang smiled. Under normal circumstances, Zhou Jiao would definitely say, there are slippers in the closet, take them yourself, and would not do such a thoughtful gesture. However, Zhou Jiao often said that wind is rain and she changes her mind faster than turning the pages of a book. Sometimes he is cheerful, sometimes he is gentle and reserved. Zhou Hang has known Zhou Jiao for more than 10 years, and he is no longer surprised. Wouldn't you like me to be gentle with you? The half-squatting girl raised her head and looked up at Zhou Hang, her eyes twinkling like stars. Of course I do. Normal men like gentle and considerate women. Besides, Zhou Hang is not a masochist, so how could he like others treating him badly? After getting the answer she wanted, the smile on the girl's face became even brighter. The meal is ready, go eat it. Ni means we in Jianghai dialect, and the full word is any. In order to save trouble and facilitate daily communication, people later removed the pronunciation of en, and the pronunciation of we gradually evolved into ni. Why are you speaking in dialect all of a sudden? Zhou Hang asked casually. Jianghai began promoting Mandarin decades ago and requires students to speak Mandarin starting from kindergarten. Over time, it becomes a habit. As a result, children of Zhou Hang's generation are accustomed to speaking Mandarin even when communicating with local people in Jianghai. That's still good. At least Zhou Hang's generation of kids can speak dialect, they just don't speak it out of habit. Children born in a few years will basically be able to understand the dialect but will not be able to speak it. Yes, it's up to you to take care of it. Realizing that she had exposed her floor, the girl quickly covered her mouth and then retorted in the same tone as her sister Zhou Jiao. It has that flavor. What's that smell? The girl had a long nose and sniffed hard, but she didn't smell any strange smell except the smell of food. Zhou Hang joked with a half smile, your spicy nature is starting to show. While talking, the two came to the dining table. Let me see what dishes Miss Jiu prepared for me. Zhou Hang took a look and saw 3 dishes and a soup on the table. Chicken and vegetable soup with small meatballs, fried bacon with mushrooms, stuffed green peppers with meat, and a dish of ants climbing a tree. They are all the most common home-cooked dishes. However, every dish is well cooked, fragrant and delicious, and it makes people's mouths water just by looking at it. What? These are all my favorites. Then you should try it. The girl pulled out a chair and Zhou Hang sat down without hesitation, picking up a piece of vermicelli with chopsticks and stuffing it into his mouth. Yuzu, you're a good cook. This dish tastes almost better than my mom's. I didn't expect you had such a hidden trick. Zhou Hang praised the girl's craftsmanship highly. If it tastes good, eat more. The girl was overjoyed by the praise. She picked up the bowl and spoon, filled a large bowl with soup and placed it in front of Zhou Hang. This soup is also good, fresh enough. While eating, Zhou Hang said, I've known you for so long, but I didn't know you could cook. I thought you could only make instant noodles. The girl smiled and didn't respond, thinking that there are still many things you don't know. Daiju, try this bacon fried with mushrooms. My dad bought the mushrooms at the market this morning. They are very fresh. As she spoke, the girl picked up a piece of food for Zhou Hang with her chopsticks. Good. Zhou Hang took a bite and snorted with enjoyment. It's delicious. It's so delicious. I will never get tired of this dish. Yuzi, just name your price. How much do you want to marry you? I want to eat your cooking every day. The girl muttered quietly, did you ask last time? What did you say? Zhou Hang didn't hear clearly and asked again. Nothing, just eat more. Don't worry, I won't be polite with you. Zhou Hang lowered his head and spun violently. The girl put down her chopsticks after taking a few bites, folded her hands on the table with her head under her eyes full of affection. Seeing Zhou Hang eating with relish, the girl's face was also filled with a happy smile. Most of the food on the table went into Zhou Hang's stomach. He leaned back in his chair and patted his bulging belly contentedly. It's delicious. As long as you like it, I'll go wash the dishes. As she spoke, the girl prepared to clear the dishes. Just as she was about to enter the kitchen, Zhou Hang suddenly grabbed her wrist. The girl thought that Zhou Hang was well fed and warm and was lusting after sex. Thinking of Jiu Jiao's blessing before she left, telling her not to lose her virginity to Zhou Hang, her face suddenly turned red with shame. Stupid, stupid pig. But soon, the girl discovered something was wrong. There was no evil thought in Zhou Hang's eyes. He seemed to have seen something terrible, and his body was shaking with fear. Stupid pig, what's wrong with you? Fire. It's on fire. What a big fire. No fire. Stupid pig, don't scare me. Go. Go. At this moment, there was a vast sea of fire in front of Zhou Hang, with flames burning from all directions. He pulled the girl up and ran out. No matter how the girl called out, Zhou Hang ran downstairs desperately as if he was possessed. As he ran, he kept shouting, Fire! Fire! Chapter 25 Food Poisoning, Fake Fire Escape. Zhou Hang pulled the girl and ran wildly, shouting, There's a fire! The surrounding neighbors were also alarmed. When they heard someone shouting, Fire, they opened the door and ran out. No smoke, no flames. Where is the fire? There was not even a flame. You scared me. Which bastard shouted, Fire? You're full, right? Why are you yelling about nothing? It must be some naughty kid playing a prank again. Yes, there was no fire. But in Zhou Hang's eyes at this moment, what he saw was a sea of fire. The flames were approaching like a group of bloodthirsty beasts, surrounding him and Jiu Jiao and trapping them in the corridor. Seeing a ball of fire coming towards him, Zhou Hang immediately raised his arms to block it in front of him. The skin and flesh were instantly burned and bleeding. Zhou Hang clenched his teeth, his whole body trembling in pain, and countless bloodshot veins crawled up his eyeballs. Stupid pig, what's wrong with you? The girl spoke in a tearful tone, frightened by Zhou Hang's almost insane state. There was clearly no fire, so why did Zhou Hang say there was a fire? Why does he look so painful? I'm fine. Zhou Hang endured the piercing pain and touched the girl's cheek. Yuzi, don't be afraid. I'm here, and I won't let you get hurt. Even if it means a mountain of swords and a sea of fire, I will take you out safely. The girl held Zhou Hang's cheeks with both hands and shook his head vigorously, trying to wake him up. But it didn't work at all. Stupid pig, what are you talking about? There's no fire. Wake up. As soon as she finished speaking, the girl felt dizzy and saw double. Then, balls of flames appeared out of nowhere around them. The flames quickly spread along the corners of the walls and the wires, instantly igniting the flammable materials in the corridor. They were trapped in a sea of fire. Fire! It's really on fire! Be careful, stupid pig! The girl was horrified to see that the roof had collapsed. Without any hesitation, she pounced forward and protected Zhou Hang under her body. Zhou Hang also saw the same scene as the girl. He hugged the girl's slender waist with his arms, then pushed the stairs hard with his legs and narrowly avoided the falling roof. You're going to die. Do you know that you were almost smashed into a pulp? Zhou Hang grabbed the girl's shoulders and scolded her viciously. He didn't expect that Zhu Jiao would use her body as a meat shield to protect him. Yeah, I just want to make sure nothing happens to you. The girl tried hard to hold back her tears and hugged Zhou Hang tightly. She didn't even consider whether she would get hurt. Her series of actions of throwing herself to protect Zhou Hang were all out of instinct. Don't cry, it's my fault. I shouldn't be so mean to you. Zhou Hang patted the girl's back to comfort her. Let's get out quickly. If the fire gets worse, we will die here. The girl nodded and wiped her tears. Hiss tilder. As soon as the girl stood up, she felt a sharp pain in her ankle, which made her completely unable to exert any strength, and she fell back to the ground. Yuzu, what's wrong with you? Well, my feet hurt. Zhou Hang immediately half knelt down and carefully lifted up the girl's trouser leg, only to see a big bulge at the ankle. You must have accidentally sprained it while trying to protect me. Zhou Hang felt extremely guilty. A grown man like me actually needs a woman's protection. It's so fucking embarrassing. In just a few words, the fire spread again, and Zhou Hang and Zhu Jiao felt like they were in a furnace. People are almost melting. Stupid pig, just go away by yourself and don't worry about me. No, we will die together and live together. I won't abandon you. Stupid pig. Grapefruit. The two hugged each other tightly. At this time, a passerby happened to come down from upstairs and saw Zhou Hang and the girl experiencing a life and death farewell in the corridor. He was completely blinded. What's going on with these two people? It's just climbing stairs, is there any need to cry and make a fuss? Are you filming a movie? Passers-by looked around but couldn't find any hidden cameras. So passers-by came to a conclusion. These two people must be crazy. Don't move. Zhou Hang shouted to the passers-by. In his sight, flames were roaring upwards, and if the passers-by took another step forward, they would be swallowed by the flames. Passers-by thought Zhou Hang was having a mental breakdown and was going to harm him, so they ran downstairs in fear. Zhou Hang and the girl were also stunned. Is this guy in a hurry to reincarnate? The more you shout, the faster you run. They watched helplessly as passers-by were engulfed in flames and rushed into the sea of fire like crazy, and soon there was no movement. Stupid pig, he won't die. Don't worry about him. Who would rush into a sea of fire? He's such a psychopath. After observing the environment, I found that the fire was becoming more and more serious. Zhou Hang knew that if he delayed any further, he and Zhu Jiao would die here today. I still have 2 million left to spend, how can I die here? Zhou Hang decided to give it a try. He turned his back to the girl and picked her up on his back. Yuzu, I'll carry you down. After waiting for a few seconds, the flames around him suddenly shrank to their sides. Zhou Hang seized the opportunity and rushed downstairs in one step. The girl buried her head in Zhou Hang's shoulder, her body stiff with nervousness, not daring to face the raging fire. After running for an unknown amount of time, Zhou Hang finally saw the exit door. Rushed out in one go. Rushing out of their fire scene used up all of Zhou Hang's strength. The two of them collapsed on the ground, gasping for breath. Yuzu, we're fine. We are really fine. Woo. The two survivors hugged each other, instantly attracting the attention of everyone around them. What is going on here? A little girl tugged at her father's hand and asked curiously, Dad, what happened to my brother and sister? Oh, I guess they are acting. Wow, my brothers and sisters are so amazing, their acting is so realistic. The little girl looked adoring. Many people were confused. Before they could figure out what was going on, they heard two plop sounds. Zhou Hang and the girl both fainted on the ground. Hey, what's going on? It seems like I fainted. Call an ambulance. Enthusiastic people dialed 120, and soon an ambulance took Zhou Hang and the girl to the hospital. KK bar. Zhu Jiao slid her fingertips across the rim of the glass, looking at the amber wine gloomily. CAI, if you and your sister both like the same man, what would you do? That's easy. I'm 135 centimeters tall and she's 246 centimeters tall. We'll play together on Sunday. Zhu Jiao rolled her eyes at her best friend. Is this something a normal person can do? Just at this moment, Zhu Jiao's cell phone rang, and the caller ID showed it was her sister's number. Hello? Why are you calling me instead of staying with the stupid pig? A strange voice came from the other end of the phone. Hello, I'm an emergency doctor at the People's Hospital. 2 of your friends were sent to our hospital because of food poisoning. Would it be convenient for you to come over? Chapter 26. Red umbrella, white pole, lying on the board after eating. What did you say? Food poisoning. Zhu Jiao sobered up all of a sudden, but the doctor's words almost made her run out of brain cells. Zhou Hang and his sister were having dinner at home. The ingredients for cooking tonight were all bought at the vegetable market this morning. How could I get food poisoning out of nowhere? Yes, it's food poisoning. Would you like to come over? Okay, I'll be right there. Zhu Jiao did not continue to ask the reason. The most urgent thing is to go to the hospital to see how the person is doing. Nothing else matters. Zhu Jiao picked up her bag and rushed out of the bar. Took a taxi. Master, please drive faster. Don't be impatient, little girl. There is a speed limit on this road. If you drive too fast, you will be fined. The driver still followed the other car at a leisurely pace. Master, I really have something urgent. My boyfriend and my sister are in the hospital. Can you please hurry up? Zhu Jiao was so anxious that she blurted out that Zhou Hang was her boyfriend without realizing it. What did you say? Why is your boyfriend in the hospital with your sister? The driver was stunned for a moment. When I saw Zhu Jiao's anxious face in the rearview mirror, I immediately imagined a bloody plot. I know, your boyfriend must be secretly dating your sister behind your back, right? Your boyfriend is a piece of shit. Even rabbits don't eat grass near their burrows, how could he have the heart to do that to your sister? But based on my experience, it takes 2 to tango. Your sister must have seduced him, otherwise they wouldn't have been together. My sister-in-law has always seduced me before, and I almost couldn't control myself several times. Don't worry, little girl. I'll take you to the hospital right away to catch you in adultery. What a mess. Zhu Jiao was speechless. How could this driver have such a wild imagination? It's such a waste of talent not to write novels. Driver, please hurry up. Okay, no problem. This time the driver agreed very readily, turned the steering wheel to change lanes, and then stepped on the accelerator and rushed out. Zhu Jiao was thrown back into her seat. The journey was supposed to take more than 10 minutes, but we arrived at the hospital in less than half the time. Pushing open the car door, Zhu Jiao covered her chest and staggered out of the car. I don't know where the driver learned to drive, but it's more thrilling than a roller coaster. She almost couldn't help vomiting. Fighting back the urge to vomit, Zhu Jiao ran into the emergency room. Seeing a doctor passing by, he immediately ran up to ask. Doctor, one of your people just called me and said that my sister and my boyfriend had food poisoning and were admitted to the emergency room of your hospital. The doctor said calmly, you're here so soon. I was the one who called you just now. Doctor, how are my boyfriend and my sister? Calm down, they are fine, they just had a mild case of food poisoning that caused them to hallucinate. Zhu Jiao heaved a sigh of relief when she heard that Zhou Hang and her sister were safe. Why did they get food poisoning? I just read their test report and speculated that their hallucinations were caused by consuming uncooked poisonous mushrooms. Zhou Jiao suddenly understood. I did buy some mushrooms among the ingredients I prepared today. My dad said this morning that the vendor told him that this kind of mushroom is called giant Xiao and tastes very delicious. People in Jianghai don't eat mushrooms often, so they don't know much about them. I guess my dad doesn't know this thing is poisonous. Doctor, how are my boyfriend and sister? Don't worry, the amount they consumed was not large enough to be fatal, but they are still in a coma. The doctor patiently explained, there are relatively few toxins in your sister's body. She should wake up soon. Your boyfriend is a bit more seriously poisoned, and he may not wake up until very late. Keep him in the hospital for observation tonight. Okay, thank you, doctor. You're welcome. This is what I should do. Your sister and boyfriend are in the ward. You can go see them anytime. After a few brief exchanges, the doctor hurried off to attend to other matters. Zhou Jiao went to the window to pay first, and then went to the ward after she was done. She saw Zhou Hang and her sister at a glance. I'm really pissed off by you two. Sitting in the accompanying chair, looking at the two people who were still mumbling, Zhou Jiao was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. I've seen many people date in hotel rooms, but this is the first time I've seen one in a hospital ward. He was sent to the hospital due to food poisoning. Looking at the entire dating industry, there is no precedent and no successor. Quite an explosive existence. After about an hour, the girl finally woke up from her coma. Zhou Jiao quickly stood up and went forward to help her sister sit up. Sister, where is this? Why are you here? You're so embarrassed to ask. Zhou Jiao suppressed her laughter and said, do you still remember what happened? I remember that my house was on fire. The whole building was full of fire, and Daiju carried me out of the sea of fire. You two are awesome. You can even have such a thrilling meal. Zhou Jiao covered her sister with a blanket and said, there was no fire at all. Was that all your hallucinations? Hallucination? Yes, the mushrooms you ate contained toxins and were not fully cooked, which caused food poisoning and caused hallucinations. So that's how it is. The girl was relieved. Sister, you don't know, that illusion was so real, just like the real thing. Okay, don't think about it, just have a good rest. Zhou Jiao smiled and said, I was gone for a while and you were sent to the hospital with food poisoning. The girl was so embarrassed after such a big mistake. She and Zhou Hang were still crying and shouting in public. It's so embarrassing. Sister, how is the piglet? He's fine. He's just a little more poisoned than you are. He might not wake up until later. It's all my fault. If I hadn't cooked the mushrooms properly, I would have put the stupid pig in the hospital. How can you be blamed for this? You didn't know that the green lily was poisonous. You should blame your dad. He bought it without knowing what it was. The two sisters came to Zhou Hang's bed and looked at him infatuatedly. Sister, the way the piglet sleeps is quite cute. How can it be cute? It looks like a dead pig. Zhou Jia became playful and gently pushed Zhou Hang's nose upwards with her index finger, making him look like Zhu Barji. Phew tilder. The two sisters couldn't help laughing. Sister, the silly pig's mouth is moving, as if he is saying something. It seems so. The two sisters gathered together and heard Zhou Hang whispering, don't be afraid, Yuzi, don't be afraid, I will protect you. The two sisters were a little touched. They didn't expect that Zhou Hang was still thinking about them even when he was unconscious. But soon they both felt a little lost. Which Zhou Jiao does he want to protect? Chapter 27. Spend the night with me. When Zhou Hang woke up, it was already the next morning. Fortunately, he is still young and strong, and recovers quickly. If it were him decades later when he was middle-aged, this meal of mushrooms would probably make him dazed for a week. Zhou Hang was speechless when he learned that he was sent to the hospital because he accidentally ingested poisonous mushrooms. There are many people who take drugs and get high, but he is definitely the first one to get high on food. The only thing to be thankful for is that the fire was just an illusion. No casualties were caused. No wonder the passerby I met in the corridor yesterday, when he heard me calling him, rushed into the sea of fire without looking back, as if he had seen a ghost. At that time, Zhou Hang thought that guy was a psychopath. Now that I think about it, I guess the other person had the same idea as me at the time, thinking that he had escaped from a mental hospital. The younger sister was sent home before Zhou Hang woke up, and Zhou Jiao stayed to take care of Zhou Hang. Are you sure you want to be discharged? Or stay in for another day for observation? Zhou Jiao was a little worried. Food poisoning can be serious or minor. In severe cases, it may be fatal. To be on the safe side, it is safer to stay in the hospital for one more night. No, I'm fine. You know your own physical condition best. Zhou Hang no longer sees double, and the toxins in his body must have been completely metabolized. Moreover, there was a pungent smell of disinfectant in the hospital, which Zhou Hang really couldn't stand. What's more, the bed was not comfortable to sleep on. Outside the ward, the sound of patients' families crying and wailing could be heard from time to time, and the negative emotions greatly affected their mood. Staying 1 second longer is torture. There are so many patients every day. I should stop occupying the toilet and leave the bed for those in need. Zhou Hang made up an excuse to deal with it. The discomfort in the hospital is secondary. The most important thing is that tomorrow is the day when iPhone 4 is released. How could he miss such a good opportunity to make money? Okay, then you lie down and rest for a while, I'll go and get you discharged. 10 minutes later, Zhou Jiao came back after finishing the formalities. When he was about to leave, Zhou Hang saw the information sheet hanging at the foot of the bed next to him. Name, Zhou Jianing. Age, 18 years old. Reason for hospitalization, food poisoning causing hallucinations, no other adverse symptoms, stay in the garden for observation for one night. Zhou Jiao just came back at this time, and Zhou Hang waved to her. Yuzu, come and see. This person's name is only one letter different from yours. She also had food poisoning. What a coincidence. Oh, yes, what a coincidence. Zhou Jiao's heart suddenly tightened. Such a form will be placed at each bed to facilitate diagnosis by the doctor during rounds. Zhou Jiao had wanted to secretly hide the form before Zhou Hang woke up, but she forgot about it as soon as she turned around. Finished. Won't he discover our secret? That's not right. What's wrong? What's wrong? Zhou Jiao looked away with a guilty look and clenched her hands tightly together. You also have food poisoning, so why don't you see the bed with your name on it? I woke up last night. So I completed the discharge procedures early in the morning and the forms were taken away, so you didn't see my bed. Zhou Jiao stammered and made up a reason. I just saw a taxi parked at the door. Let's go quickly. Fearing that Zhou Hang might discover something, Zhou Jiao pulled him out of the ward. Zhou Jiao is really not good at lying, and Zhou Hang is a smart man. If you don't leave now, you'll probably be exposed. Since they met Zhou Hang, the two sisters have taken turns to get along with him. They were very worried that Zhou Hang would feel deceived after knowing that they were two people. What he didn't want even more was that Zhou Hang would get close to one of them and distance himself from the other. Keeping the balance in the present is the best state. So whether it was Zhou Jiao or her sister Zhou Jianing, they were not ready to let Zhou Hang know her secret. They also knew that it was impossible to keep it a secret from Zhou Hang forever, but at least now was not the best time to tell him. After being discharged from the hospital, Zhou Hang did not go home to rest. He went to the supermarket and bought 2 blankets, some food and water. When the iPhone goes on sale, it will definitely be snapped up by scalpers. If you don't get the goods in the first batch, you will have to pay more to buy them from scalpers later. This is not in line with Zhou Hang's principles. But I am a conscientious businessman. Only I can make money from others, but others cannot make money from me. So if you want to be the first to grab the original price phone, you have to go to the iPhone flagship store and queue up overnight. There must be at least 2 people in the queue so that when one person wants to go to the toilet, the other person can take over and keep an eye on the seat. If you queue up alone, don't even think about walking away for a while. As long as you leave the line, it is assumed that you have given up this position. Zhou Hang called Zhu Pengfei and prepared to ask him to queue up together. Fatty, the iPhone 4 will be released tomorrow, come and queue up with me all night. There was a crackling sound of fart from the other end of the line. No, I have a stomachache. I've had diarrhea 5 or 6 times today. My legs are so weak. Puff 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 tilde tilde. Zhou Hang subconsciously moved the phone a little further away. This is a serious phone call. I can smell a foul odor even through the phone. Forget it, then you should have a good rest at home. Zhu Pengfei is not feeling well, so if I go there, not only will I not be able to help, but I might even have to take care of him myself. Why don't I ask Yuzi, maybe she can go with me. Zhou Hang immediately called Jiu Jiao. Family-oriented. Jiu Jianing was sitting on the sofa watching TV, and Jiu Jiao handed her a glass of warm water. How do you feel? Are you feeling better? Much better. Jiu Jianing didn't eat many mushrooms, so the poisoning was not serious. Apart from feeling a little weak, she had no other symptoms. I am really defeated by you two. It's fine that they had hallucinations from eating, but they also ran downstairs and hugged each other and cried bitterly. It was like they were in a Qiongniao drama. I just came back and the neighbors were pointing and talking when they saw me. Sister, please stop talking. It's so embarrassing. When she thought about the separation between her and Zhu Hang yesterday, Jiu Jianing felt so embarrassed that she wanted to bury herself. You don't go out that often, why are you embarrassed? I'm the one who's embarrassed, okay. The uncles and aunties also said that my acting skills are so good that it would be a pity if I didn't become an actor. Phew. Jiu Jianing couldn't help laughing out loud. You are still young, I will teach you a lesson. Jiu Jiao pounced on Jiu Jianing and tickled her madly, which made Jiu Jianing giggle non-stop. Sister, I was wrong, your phone is ringing. HMPH, I'll spare you for now. When they saw the caller ID showed it was Zhu Hang, the two sisters immediately quieted down. Answer the call and press the speaker button. Stupid pig, what do you want from me? Yuzu, are you free tonight? Come out with me to spend the night.